Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic are the most unstoppable duo ever. Yes?
Are they the
No?
most unstoppable duo ever?
Maybe so.
Duo?
We'll get into that. We will get into that.
That's how we
Here
start
pretty
today.
soon.
This
We'll get into that here pretty soon.
This how we starting the day, right? Ox, this is your man, by the way, Ox. Just so we clear. This is your man. This is what we starting. This is what we
Before
start the show
there,
with. Oh my God.
You probably meant
we're going to talk about how the Mavs were built as a franchise, all the small little things they did, and all the major moves they made. And then we'll talk about how Luka and Kyrie stack up as a backcourt in NBA history. We'll talk about the 76ers' new offseason plans. Apparently, they have some targets. But before we do that, I got another buy or sell for you guys. So right from the beginning, I got to ask you guys, will Kyrie Irving score 30 or more than twice in this series?
I guess I'll start first. Yeah, I think I'd put a year's worth of savings on that. For Kyrie to have, 30 points in, 2 or more games? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd put him a year's worth of savings on it. I think Kyrie is one of the most talented scorers in the game, and I think he thrives for moments like the NBA Finals. As a Cavs fan, got the poster in the back, got Mr. Kyrie on it. He thrives for these moments, and I think in the 2 finals he played in Cleveland, healthy all the way through, he had at least 2 30-point games in those matchups, and I think in order to go toe-to-toe with a talented team like Boston, it's going to ask Kyrie to have, even as a number 2, multiple 30-point games. And I'm confident that he'll get it done. So I'd buy it.
Ahmad?
Yeah, I'm buying it too. I mean, if the Dallas Mavericks want to have a chance to win the series, he better have 30 points or more. That's how I'm looking at it. I think him and Luka Doncic, they're probably going to have to average between the two at least, 65, 70 points between the duo to have a chance.
Wait, hold on. What does Kyrie average on the year?
This season?
25.
25? And Luka averages 33, 34?
Yeah.
34.
So, I mean, that's how Chill would say, that's a Tuesday night.
Yeah. That's it's good odds that he will.
In order for them to win, and go ahead, I'm sorry, Ox. Go ahead,
Ox. Yeah, 100%. I got him. My only issue with it is that I don't think there's going to be a lot of games. I think it's going to be Boston in 5. So, so that for those reasons, you're going to have 5 games to get it done, Kyrie. So,
Ron, I feel like if Kyrie Irving is scoring 30, to Ahmad's point, if they're getting 65 from Irv and Luka, they're winning this series. If they're getting 65 from those 2 guys. And the reason why I say that is because they're not shutting down them other guys neither. It's not like just Luka and Kyrie Irving are going off. If those guys are going off, that means that Boston is focusing a lot of attention on those guys, which means guys like PJ Washington, Derrick Jones Jr., Lively, those guys are going off too. So in addition to the 65 that they getting, 70 that they getting from Kyrie Irving and Luka, they're probably going to get another 30 or 40 from those other guys. And if they're doing that, then the Celtics can't win this series. That's why I don't think Kyrie Irving is going to go off for 30 in as many games, off the strength that the Celtics are going to focus a lot of their attention on those 2 guys and make those other guys beat them.
Mars, 30 or more twice from Kyrie Irving. Does he make it happen?
It depends how far the series goes. If they get swept, I doubt it. And also, does it count as 30 if they're down by 20 and he gets to 31 points in garbage time?
Yes, it does. It still counts.
Yeah, the question
it might be a meaningless 30. It might not mean that much, but he still went for 30.
Okay, then yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Kyrie has a couple 30-point games in this series.
I will like to add, Kyrie went for in the both NBA Finals in Cleveland. I know that was like 2 moons ago or something like that. Literally. Those are before Game 6. Kyrie had in 2016, I think 30 in Game 3 and Game 5, and 30 in Game 3 and Game 4 in 2017. So he can get it early. And then he came out pretty early in Game 1 of the West Finals. So I don't even know if it matters how long the series goes.
Ox, you said in 5 games for Boston?
More like 5 or 6, yeah.
Why do you think so?
I just think Boston just that much better than them. I see Kyrie and the threat of Kyrie, the threat of Luka Doncic, but I think as a whole, top to bottom, first 8 players on both squads, I think Boston is more than a little better than them.
You dudes might not say anything about it, but I'll say something about it. I don't like this Kristaps Porzingis in the lineup thing. I don't like it. He does not look like he's healthy. He does not look confident in what he's doing. I've seen him in the interviews. If I'm good, Ox, I'm going to tell you I'm ready to go. When you ask me if I'm ready to go, yes, let's go. But if you ask me and I'm going, what are the doctors saying? Or we'll see. That does not move me at all. I think Kristaps Porzingis, I think this injury is a lot worse than what they told us. I feel like this could be a potential KD situation all over again. Don't forget, tomorrow's 5 weeks since he had this injury. So he hasn't played in over a month. Add that to the fact that was the same time when KD came back in the lineup in 19. He was on the floor for less than 20 minutes and ruptured his Achilles. I'm very nervous about this injury. I don't like it. Yeah. I don't.
You wouldn't play it. So you would.
I said to you, Mars, a month ago, I thought he was done for the playoffs. I said that to you. There's 2 injuries that I don't play with. I don't play with the heart, and I don't play with calf injuries because they deal with Achilles. I don't play with those injuries. And you're gonna risk. By the way, you ended up re-signing him for next year. So if you lose him in these playoffs, you could risk losing him next year too, for the entire season. I don't like it. I don't.
I don't think they need KP to beat the Mavs anyway. So that's the thing. Even if he plays, like, let's say 10, 15 minutes, I still think the Boston Celtics are going to probably beat the Mavericks.
You guys do know. Well, go ahead. Go ahead, Casual. And by the way, right quick before you go, I know, Chad, I'm kind of rude. Even though you guys have seen these faces before, I got my man Casual right above me. And in the top right, I got my man Ahmad. We had to bring in, we had to bring in 2 hitters for the episode today. We got the finals tomorrow.
We're going to introduce people. We're going to already start eating, and you're going to introduce people. Ain't something else, ain't he? Ain't wrong something else?
Chill, but the food was fire.
Bring everybody in the house, put everybody down, and we're going to already start eating, and then go, hey, by the way, this is my man Amar. We already started eating. What the hell? It's wrong, though. This is your man, Ox. This is your man, Ox. I just want to make sure we clear on that. It's your man.
But sure, the appetizer was fire, though, right?
No, it
everybody
wasn't,
even forgot about it because they started.
I'm sitting down eating with people who I don't even know. I ain't even introduced to these people. I don't even know these people. Like, these people could be wild as hell, even though I already know them. But these people could be wild as hell. You wild, bro. That's all I gotta say. Hell, garbage, trash.
Yo, Casual, talk to us, man.
Oh, what do you want me to say? What's up, everybody?
You was talking about Kristaps coming back.
Oh, no, I was just saying I agree. Like, even like what is Ahmad said, just 10, 15 minutes, even if he just came off the bench, a couple threes, just the ability to space out the floor and to be there for Boston, I think that's better than nothing. It is the finals at the end of the day. And yeah, you probably want to save him for next year, but it's the finals. And I'm always one of the people that think next year's not guaranteed. Although Boston is pretty talented, they'll probably go back to the finals again next year. It's not guaranteed. I leave it all on the floor.
Casual, this isn't an ankle injury, my man. Casual, this isn't an ankle injury. This is an elbow injury. I'm risking this being something that was, first of all, I think he played less than 60 games this year. So he's already been injury prone. So we know that about him already, right? So now we haven't basically had him for the entire playoffs. So not only are we not going to have him for the entire playoffs this year, if we play him and he gets hurt again, we may lose him for the entire season next year again. Am I interested in doing that? Even though he brings the dynamic that we don't have, right? We already got a stretch 4 in Al Horford, who's basically turned into a DN3 guy, which still blows my mind because he's been the epitome of a dirty work guy. But with that being said, we also have Porzingis, who is a stretch 5. Now that brings Gafford. That brings Lively. Both of those guys away from the basket. But if he's not available, and I only get him for 3 or 4 minutes, and then he breaks down again, and I don't have him for the rest of the series, and it's a substantial injury, I end up losing him for next year. And I'm not sure if I want to risk that. I'm not sure. I need to hear more from him really quickly. I need to hear more. I just need to hear more from him that he's more confident in how he feels. Because Mars, I can't tell you how healthy you are. I can't do that. Only you can tell me how healthy you are. I don't like hearing stuff like, I trust the Boston medical staff. Not Kyrie Irving, I'm sorry. If I'm not mistaken, didn't Kawhi Leonard tell us that, yo, these people telling me I'm good, I'm telling you I'm not?
Yeah.
Didn't Kawhi Leonard tell us that? So the idea when I hear him telling us that, I trust the Boston medical staff. How about you? Do you trust you? How do you feel, sir? If you're good, let us know you're good. And if you're not, don't hold that back.
Oh, I don't think he's ever admitted yet that he's 100%. I don't think he's ever admitted that he's 100% yet. But I don't know the severity of the injury. Like, is it a KD-style injury or is just his calf hurt? Does all calves injuries lead to Achilles? I'm no doctor.
Right.
It's kind of connected. But I will say, though, like with Kristaps Porzingis, you won't – it could be the mental aspect. You won't know until you actually on the court how you really feel. Because it's different in practice and doing workouts and things like that. Until you really get on the court, you got to go up and down. So maybe that's why he's a little, apprehensive when it comes to talking about, like, how he really truly feels, because he may not know.
So he hasn't been in action yet.
He hasn't been in action. But
okay.
If he hasn't been in action yet, then he don't need to play.
Well,
it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. So tomorrow's game 1. If he hasn't been up and down in practice, did some scrimmaging, played fives, there's no way on earth you put him on the court.
No, he has though. But it's just more. But you know how it is. It's different when you play in practice and then actual game speed. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's just like game speed on the basketball court. It's just like it's totally different in practice. So maybe that's why he's a little kind of apprehensive, like I said. But I feel like if you just look at the Boston, even if he doesn't play, you look at the Boston Celtics, I feel like they got 4 guys that can initiate the offense and create offense for themselves. They got Derek White, they got Drew Holiday, they got Jayson Tatum, they got, Jaylen Brown. So it's just like it's no really excuse for them not to win, in my opinion, because depth-wise and also talent-wise, I feel like they just got more options to throw at the Mavericks and the Mavs can throw at them. So even without Kristaps Porzingis, I feel like they're still going to be good, or they should be good.
Yeah.
So y'all gonna make me the bad guy today?
I agree with that.
How does Drew Holiday slow down Kyrie Irving though? Because
right quick, chill, because I want to stay on Porzingis.
Yep.
Y'all gonna make me the bad guy today. I'm gonna say what everybody doesn't want to admit.
You always been.
I'm gonna say what everybody's just skimming over.
What's that?
Here,
he's about to make it by Jayson Tatum.
I'll bring you guys out these good ass appetizers. I'll bring you guys out this good ass first entree, soup, salad, bread, and all of this, and y'all just gonna skim over what's in front of you.
Which is
Al Horford can't deal with them young boys by himself. Do you know that the Mavericks have 48 minutes of firepower at that center position? They got 2 dogs that are gonna be on the floor for every single second of the game.
Right.
Yo, chill. Al Horford damn near pushing 40. He can't do it by himself.
He just turned 38 last week.
Kristaps Porzingis. Hey, look, Luke Cornett is serviceable.
No.
Thank you.
No.
You see what I'm saying? So what they gonna do? JT gonna play center minutes?
When they played Dallas in the season, JT was guarding the bigs.
Yeah, a lot of JT. They did some of that in Indiana too,
and they did fine.
You guard 1 through 4 and then 5, depending on certain bigs as well.
You know what happened.
Bigs aren't crazy skilled enough for you to be like scared of Jayson Tatum guarding them. Like they're not.
Thank you, because you know what Ron tries to do. Ron will come here today. Ron just came here today and tried to convince y'all that Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford are Patrick Ewing and David
Nikola
Robinson.
Jokic.
I never said that. Hold on, I never said that.
Al Horford ain't worried about them.
I never said.
You said Al Horford can't keep up with. Al Horford is not worried about
that.
that.
Al Horford playing 48 minutes?
No.
That's what I'm getting at. So when Al Horford's not on the floor, now when Al Horford's on the floor, cool. But when he's not on the floor,
you don't gotta disrespect Al for this.
But yo, Bob, I said 48 minutes. That's what I started with. That's what I led with. Al Horford's not playing 48 minutes. When he's not on the floor, what's happening? How are they combating
Tatum at center? They did that.
Y'all believe that Jayson Tatum's gonna be down there banging with Daniel Gafford?
Daniel Gafford isn't a physical big.
Why not, man?
So this is what I'm saying.
Derek Lively is, but Daniel Gafford isn't.
Rebounding, offensive and defense.
Okay.
Catching those lobs.
I don't believe Jayson Tatum's a fake rebounder.
Rim protecting.
Get in there.
Okay.
So I'm saying when Kyrie gets to going downhill, when Luka gets to the rim at will, what's Jayson Tatum doing?
Well, see, that's the plan though. That's
the plan is they don't get to the rim.
That's where I was going.
That's the plan.
How do we keep these guys out of the paint? How do we keep Luka from throwing the ball to the rim and Gafford putting his face in the rim. How do we keep that? How do we keep that from happening? Well, one of the ways we keep that from happening is we got to get the ball out of Luka's hands. That's what we have to do. And one of the ways we do that is blitzing him. Make Lively make plays in the short roll, right? Make Daniel Gafford make wide open shots. Not Daniel Gafford, I'm sorry, PJ Washington. Make him make open shots. I'm actually comfortable with Kyrie Irving doing all of the work. If I'm taking the ball away from Luka. If I'm doing that, then I think that you have a chance, as opposed to, I said this yesterday, when Luka has the ball in his hands and he's getting downhill and he's getting Daniel Gafford, he's getting Lively, he's getting PJ Washington, he's getting Derrick Jones, he's getting himself shots. And at the end of the night, the stat line reads 42, 18, and 13. You don't have a chance when he's doing that. You don't.
Chill, it sounds like your game plan is get the ball out of Luka's hands and let Kyrie and Drew play one-on-one.
I'm more comfortable with that than Luka getting in drop coverage and being 17, 18 feet away from the basket with somebody on his hip, or him now being in the middle of the lane and Al Horford's playing 2-on-1 with him and Gafford. I'm more comfortable with Drew Holiday and Kyrie Irving one-on-one and him dealing with him, as opposed to Luka playing in the mid-range, playing in the mid-post. I'm more comfortable with that, because I'm not thinking that Drew Holiday is going to shut Kyrie Irving down, but I'm more comfortable with Drew Holiday making it more difficult on Kyrie Irving than Luka being in the mid-range with somebody in jail on his back. We got no shot when he's doing that. You saw what happened with Minnesota. They gave them game 4, by the way. They should have swept them. They should have straight swept them.
But Minnesota didn't have like the perimeter defenders that the Boston Celtics have. So
they had Jaden McDaniels, though. He's an all-league defender.
They had Jaden McDaniels, but Jaylen Brown can guard the perimeter. Derek White can guard the perimeter. Jayson Tatum can guard the perimeter. Like Drew Holiday can guard the perimeter. So they have like guys on the perimeter level where if you got Kyrie Irving, you got Luka Doncic. I don't think you're not going to stop them. But if they got to pull out their second, third, fourth counter every time they're trying to go isolation or one-on-one with these guys, that's good, because they're going to have to defend those guys as well. So I think it's going to be very interesting. But I don't think it's going to be a problem the way people really think it is for like the defensive stuff with Kyrie and Luka Doncic, because they got guys that can defend. They're gonna get theirs, but they're gonna make it tough for them.
Luka had 37 points on March 1st. They lost by 28 to Boston.
Smoked.
I get that Kristaps was there, but they had 37. And then Chill was saying, like, what if Lively and PJ Washington go off? I think they got like 32 combined points from Hardaway, Lively, and PJ Washington. Lost by 28. I know it was a regular season game. I don't think Celtics get enough credit. I don't think they get enough credit for being that good of a team. Everyone's talking about how the Mavs can attack the Celtics defense, or how the Mavs can just bully this or take advantage of this matchup. Look, Luka Doncic, Kyrie going off. No one ever talks about how the Mavs have never seen the Celtics. This Celtics team, even without Kristaps, is a totally different team than the Mavs have seen throughout the playoffs. Way better offense. Way more perimeter creators than the Clippers, OKC, and Minnesota, and experience. They're in for a different series, in my opinion.
I said the same thing about Minnesota. I said the same thing when I talked about their perimeter defense, that the Dallas Mavericks has not seen a perimeter defense like this, because Anthony Edwards is a lot better defender on the perimeter that we give him credit for. Now, Minnesota's offense was probably the biggest issue, in addition to Cat not winning that matchup with PJ Washington. But you had the effort on the defensive end on the perimeter with Jaden McDaniels, with Anthony Edwards, with Alexander Walker, with Naz Reid being switchable like he is. They should have swept them, right? Now, with Boston, on the other hand, I love how switchable they are. I know that Jason Kidd is going to take advantage of switches, which is why I do not – this is what they did with Minnesota, which is why I do not want Al Horford switched onto Kyrie Irving. I'm not interested in that. We got to protect him. We have to protect him. We got to get around screens. We got to make sure that we hedge on screens, because we can't have Al Horford switched on to Luka. We can't have Al Horford switched on to Kyrie Irving, because I feel like that's a recipe for disaster. However, defensively, we have seen Dallas dismantle a great defense. We've seen that. So I don't think that that's something that's ridiculous to think. Now, mind you, I think Boston is going to serve these dudes. I still think that they're going to serve them. I want to make sure we clear on that, Moss. I think Boston's serving these dudes. But I don't want to disregard the other stuff. It's not like this stuff that we're talking about doesn't matter.
I gave you guys the main
I was more
issue
talking
at
about the offense, though. Like the offense of Boston is something that Dallas's defense hasn't seen.
Yeah.
Minnesota's offense is extremely mid. Whereas Boston, you got 5 guys starting who can all get 20 points in a given night, something that Minnesota couldn't do because they couldn't score in the half court.
I think they if I'm not mistaken, in the Indiana series, Drew Holiday, who was their 4th best scorer, he averaged 18 a game in that series.
Yeah.
And I think he's their 4th guy.
On the switches like that, chill. Because I see a lot of times where, like what you're talking about, when the 5 gets switched on the 1, and then that team kind of die on the switch, where they'll just let them get cooked right there. I'm sure Boston is not going to do that. Like if Al Horford does get switched on to Kyrie or Luka, especially beyond, far beyond the 3-point line, I'm sure they're sending somebody. They got to send the double or whoever's guarding Derrick Jones Jr. or somebody like that. Whoever that person is going straight to that, and we're either going to double that or I get here and Al, you get back. You know what I'm saying? Something.
Even playing that 2-2 like zone, sometimes they like to throw in as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's real.
Which, by the way, Dallas is going to do that. I was watching the Oklahoma City series, and I went back and watched some more of it. Dallas did that. Oklahoma City had them in the chokehold. Oklahoma City ended up having them in the chokehold. In the third quarter, Dallas comes out, and they play a 2-3 zone where you got Kyrie Irving and Derrick Jones at the top. You got Luka on the baseline. That was to protect Luka. Not only was it protect Luka, it was to make Lou Dort. It was to make the rook Casey Wallace. Make them dudes shoot. Make those dudes shoot the basketball. And once they did that, I think they went on a 9-0 run. In addition to them going on a 9-0 run, they went on another like 11-2 run. So I think you're gonna see some zone in this series too from the Dallas Mavericks.
And it's gonna be
bust it wide open. Bust that wide open. Bust that zone wide open.
I can't believe we are all up here glazing the Celtics like
crack
this.
it.
Like the Mavs don't have a chance in hell. I've been hearing glaze for the whole first 22 minutes. Glaze.
I don't like glaze.
I'm telling you, the Celtics have issues that they have to deal with.
Which is fine, Ron.
If Porzingis doesn't play, Lively and Gafford are going to pick apart that defense. When Luka gets in the paint, Mars, this is the case. Lobs are getting thrown over their heads all day. Lively's catching alley-oops all day. The dude didn't miss a shot last series. And you guys are acting like this isn't going to be a problem. No, he didn't miss a shot.
All his shots were dunks. All of them. It's not
and what do you think his next shot's going to be? A dunk. The shot after that, a dunk.
Boston defend lobs better than the Wolves did in the last series. So, that's a bit of a weird comparison.
So they're not going to get lobs, Mars.
I never said. When did I say they're not going to get lobs? When did those words leave my mouth? I said they defend lobs better.
What I'm telling you is, it don't matter how they defend them. They're still going to get there.
Then it wouldn't matter if Porzingis was there, right?
We're talking about if Porzingis is not there.
Yeah, and I'm saying, but would they still get lobs if Porzingis was there?
Yes.
And I still think Boston would win. So then what? And I still think Boston would win. So what are we talking about these lobs for?
Ron, in your estimation, in all the time you've been watching basketball, I want you to take the Boston Celtic tag off. If you got a 64-win team that's been the best team all year long, and they're in the NBA Finals, how you talking about them coming into the NBA Finals, regardless of who they playing? How you talking about them?
Have I seen them play? Like I watched the Celtics.
Of course you've seen them play. Of course you've seen them play.
So am I supposed to judge them based on the wins, or am I supposed to judge them based on their team?
On their unit. You've seen this unit play. Take the Boston Celtic tag off. How are you talking about this unit going into the NBA championship? Regardless of who they play.
All that stuff.
And not just an efficient offense. I think they had the best offense in the league. I think they had the 3rd best defense in the league. This is what you're dealing with.
5th best net rating of all time.
Yeah.
Of all time, Ron. So now this is what you got coming into. This is what you have coming into the NBA Finals. Take the Boston Celtic tag off. Take Jayson Tatum. Take Jaylen Brown. Take these dudes out. This is what you got in the NBA Finals. Whomever they're playing, how are you talking about them going into the finals? What should they be?
They're the favorites.
They should be the champions in a sweep. They should. Mars, you just said the 5th best net rating of all time.
Yeah, right? and the 1st best net rating of all time to sweep the playoffs.
But not every team sweeps in the finals. But
I get that. I'm saying if we're going based off all of this, and y'all saying this is a historical team, it's the Boston Celtics, this, that, and the third, then they should be able to handle the Mavericks. A 5th seed,
Well, you know,
They should be able to take care of him, right?
Yeah, they should win. A sweep is a sweep is just a very
there was one player that went against a 73-9 team that did the unthinkable, and people say that Luka Doncic is his disciple, and if Luka Doncic is as great as everybody's been saying he is, then the Mavs may have a chance.
Okay, see, you're talking about the 73-9 team, and then Chill just talked about remove the Celtics logo or remove the Celtics name off that 64-win team who you pick in the series. What happened in that 73-9 series? Steph Curry meltdown. And this is what I've been thinking for the last week. The people who are picking Dallas are, without saying it, expecting a Tatum meltdown. Without saying it, you're expecting a Tatum meltdown. There's no way you can see this Boston Celtics team from top to bottom against the Mavs team and say, I'm picking Dallas when they're on the road. Dallas is on the road in a 7-game series. It's going to be in Boston for 4 out of the 7. You're expecting a Tatum meltdown because if Tatum has not an A+, a B+ to A- series, it's wraps in 6 for Boston. They're too much for Dallas. We saw in the 2 regular season games, I think Tatum went for 30+ both of those games.
So the last one they played in Boston, I think he went for 32 and they beat them by 20.
And then Brown also had 25 in both of those games. You're expecting a Tatum meltdown without saying it if you're picking Dallas. I've been thinking about that for like a week now.
What if I'm expecting the opposite?
No, there's no way. If Tatum's on one, there's no way.
No. Not Tatum. What if it's not so much about Tatum underperforming as much as I'm expecting Luka Doncic to take over?
They can't. It's just not enough. It's not enough.
What do you mean it's not enough?
Because if Tatum is 27 to 30 points a game, that's a great series. What are you asking Luka to get? 40 a game in a series?
That's not far-fetched.
Yes.
That's not.
Okay, let's say for the sake of argument, Ron, that's true.
Let's say somehow he has 40.
Let's say he goes for 40, 10, and 10, and Jayson Tatum plays like Jayson Tatum's been playing in the playoffs. And Jaylen Brown has been playing like he's been playing.
25.
He still beat them.
They still beat them.
They still beat them, Ron. And here's why they beat them. Because the exact point that you just was making about the Golden State Warriors. Mm-hmm. Steph Curry got kicked out of Game 6. Complete meltdown. And then I won't even talk about what happened in Game 7. I think him and Klay Thompson on the long ball. I think they went like 12 for 36 on the long ball.
Out of bounds, Chill.
Which me and Mars have already agreed that's the worst pass that I've ever seen. That's the worst. He threw the ball in the third row with his weak hand.
Was it behind the back?
He should have came out the game for that.
That's the worst.
He should have came out the game for that. He got to come sit down for that. There's no way he can stay on the floor with that pass. But what I'm saying is like you just said, it's his disciple. If he goes for 40, 10, and 10, did we not see James go for almost 40, 10, and 10 against Orlando? They got mopped. In 6 games.
Yeah. He lost with 49 points in a game.
This is all I'm saying.
He got almost 50, and they lost.
You guys are acting like it's completely out of the realm of possibility
by the way,
for the Mavericks to even win. And that's the only thing I don't like.
No, it's possible.
No. I don't want to hear that it's possible if this and this. You guys are acting like it's no chance in hell. You guys are acting like it's a snowflake's chance in Lucifer's kitchen for these guys to win, and that's
they have a chance. No, I
don't like this energy this morning.
I just think people watch.
What do you want us to say? It's 50-50? Like, what do you want us to say?
Because it's not, Ron. Because it's not.
Coin flip.
It's not.
Like, what percentage chance do you want us to give the Mavs? Like, genuine question. What percentage?
So, Music by P says Luka has to average 50. So, can I just hear from you guys? How do the Mavs win this series?
Tatum meltdown.
I don't think it's a Tatum meltdown. I think it's just like sometimes the Boston Celtics offense is one-dimensional. And when their three-point shot is not falling, then they look kind of nasty. They kind of
a Tatum meltdown.
Well, no, it could be Derek White going 0 for 26.
Derek White can be Drew Howard. It can be Jaylen Brown. Like they all.
We have to have a meltdown on some.
But Celtics.
But some of that can be Dallas's
threes and getting all that ISO. It's partly on Tatum. Tatum's also taking those threes and not moving the basketball.
He's not taking
the corner. It would have to be a Tatum meltdown for me. I don't think a White meltdown would lose them the finals. I think it would have to be a Tatum meltdown because that's a lot of production you'll lose.
I don't think it has to. I don't think it has to be on one person.
Me either.
think,
Especially
yeah,
with their offense.
yeah.
Especially with their offense is heavily isolation. Also, it's heavily threes.
Well, that's a lot on Tatum. Tatum's taking more threes than any of them. Tatum is more ISO than any of them. He plays a big part into them getting stagnant.
Yes, but like I said, if Tatum,
But he can do those things well, and the team can still play badly.
Tatum drops 40
outside of him.
points, and then Jaylen
That's
Brown
a major
drops
team
10,
meltdown. That's something I don't think we've ever seen before.
and Drew Holiday drops 8, and then you know what I'm saying? Like they can still lose with
You've
Jayson
seen
Tatum.
teammates play badly, and the team lose all the time. That's
All
not,
you got to
That would be
do
an
is
insane meltdown.
But then the logic to that point, what you just said, the logic will be he couldn't carry. That
well, yeah, of course.
That 30 should have been 40. That 40 should have been 50.
It's the best player effect. That happens. We get that. So
I think Dallas' defense, like if they're able to keep Derek Lively and Gafford near the rim. Now, I'm not a head coach, so I don't know what the plan to do that is because Boston can shoot from everywhere. But if they're able to keep Daniel Gafford and Lively near the rim, and when Boston inevitably go to their mismatch hunting, which is they're going to hunt the hell out of Kyrie. It's not even going to be Luka as much. It's going to be Kyrie because they want a 6'2" guy on 6'10" Jayson Tatum. If they, because that's what they've done in both matchups this season. They've hunted Kyrie to death, basically. So if they're able to avoid the mismatch hunting of Kyrie, they're not giving up those switches on those guard to guard pick and rolls and all of those things, and they're able to keep Derek Lively near the rim somehow, and they end up executing their closeouts perfectly. They run the right guys off the line. Probably concede a lot of Al Horford threes because Boston's offense is pretty much we're either going to get a mid-post, high-post isolation for JT or Jaylen Brown. We're going to attack in transition, or we're going to drive and kick. That's pretty much the principles. How you get into those actions, different, but that's pretty much what we're looking for every possession. Okay. If you're able to run guys off the line or concede Al Horford threes and he's not knocking them down, and then defensively you still have that rim presence, they can win. And on top of them executing offensively with Luka playing in the mid-range where he's been perfect, pretty much perfect all playoffs. Kyrie similarly, they're able to, like, Luka's going to punish the mismatches of Drew Holiday being small or Derek White not being strong enough, or he's too, I guess, crafty for Jaylen Brown, or he's able to hunt Al Horford and Porzingis doesn't play. All of those things, they can win. Like, there's a possibility of them winning. There's things they can do to win. I just think Boston are the favorites. And I don't think that's unfair to say. I don't think that's a knock on Dallas. I think Dallas know they're not the favorites, but they can win. And it's reasonable they can win. And I don't think it requires Jayson Tatum to play horribly or Boston to play horribly. I think there's things Dallas might be able to figure out that can counter them. But I think it's unlikely they're able to execute it, which is why I think Boston will win.
Are you happy, Ron? Are you happy now, Ron?
Nah, he wants me to say Dallas is going to win. That's what he wants me to say.
Mars, that explanation will suffice for now. But we got 2.5 more hours, so who knows? It might wear off.
Stop clock watching. How about can we get to work, Ron?
Casual. I gotta ask you because you mentioned that Jayson Tatum can have a meltdown. So I gotta ask everybody up here: what is the percentage that we think that Jayson Tatum will have a meltdown in this series? 30% chance? 50?
What also counts as a meltdown? Is it like 22 points per game on?
You tell us. You gotta tell us.
Yeah, you're the one who said meltdown. I don't know.
Jayson Tatum.
Yeah, I think meltdown would be similar to 2022 finals. So it'd be like 20 to 23 points per game on mid at best efficiency with a lot of turnovers.
I think
a lot of turnovers.
To be honest with you, I think it's less than that.
With a lot of
turnovers. You're looking at like an 18, 19 point performance.
That would be a meltdown.
That's what a meltdown. I think.
Is it still a meltdown if he does that and they win?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. If he plays bad, he plays bad.
Well, if he plays bad and they win, the narratives are going to get nasty because there's going to be that huge population, that niche population of Brown's better than Tatum. They're going to come out and then start carrying that all summer.
That's already going on right now. I got to listen to that from this dude right here on the regular. I got to listen to that.
What if the best player in the series and outperforms and also defends Luka Doncic during the timely possessions? Does the narrative change then?
Oh, a meltdown would also be like, because Kyrie and Luka are so good in the final minutes, it would also be like Tatum just disappears. Kind of like how Ant and Cat did for a majority of that series, is they just disappear in the final minutes and they can't buy a bucket. While Luke and Kyrie are dancing their way to clutching victories. That would also be a meltdown.
So keep it close. If you keep it close, and I'll end it. and he won't. So, yeah, I could get with that.
So what if he has a Jamal Murray versus the Lakers series? Is that a meltdown or no?
No, because Murray ended up talking about the Lakers series this year.
Yes.
No, although Murray for like 3 quarters was always clanking shots, he had 2 game winners, and I think that kind of rights everything wrong in a way.
Interesting. Okay.
Ron, I think we're seeing what we've seen in 2 years ago. I think that needs to be rectified, and I think that he knows that. I think he knows for a fact that what you saw in 2022, you can't see that same dude in this series right here. I have to be a different dude than I was in 2022. I don't necessarily have to be 30, 35 a game, but you can't see that dude that you seen in 2022 where I was in the corner putting my head down, I was shying away from the basketball, I looked lost out there, like I didn't know what I was doing, I didn't know when to attack. You can't see that guy. You got to see somebody different.
And they also played the Golden State Warriors, which is a dynasty. And if you look at the stats for us, like LeBron James and Kobe Bryant's first ever finals, they played horrible too. So it's just like sometimes it happens. Right? That's why I don't get the whole narrative of like everybody expecting Jayson Tatum just to like be so horrible when the fact of the matter is I could talk about LeBron James, his first finals was horrible. I could talk about Kobe Bryant, his first finals was horrible. Sometimes it's just like your first finals is not always your best finals, and that's all it is to it.
Kobe got hurt just for all intents and purposes.
True.
Kobe got hurt.
Yeah.
Although someone's saying Jayson Tatum was dealing with a shoulder injury, so
yeah, that's true. That's how
who knows?
it depends.
All right, I want to encourage everybody to go ahead and like the video. Shout out to everybody that's in here right now. Shout out to everybody that's going to stay for the remainder of the video. And also shout out to all of our members. We appreciate y'all dearly. Y'all show up. Y'all show out every day. And as you guys do know, the chat clears. I got some super chats, so we're going to dive into these and make it happen. And, well, lo and behold, our first super chat is from Drink More Water. He said, I had a dream last night about. Just kidding. I want to ask about the Dallas defense and if they can do something similar to what Miami did last year if KP is compromised. Kid has really grown on me as a coach since the Brooklyn and Milwaukee days.
What did Miami do? That because he was compromised. They played a lot of zone, and that helped.
And get some
Jimmy Butler and Bam.
Yeah, they played a lot of zone, and that I feel like that helped them because right. But this Boston Celtics team can actually
more mobile though. The Dallas, I don't think Dallas have the personnel to be as mobile and fluid within their zone as Miami is, which is why their zones are a lot more rigid. It's like the typical way to break a zone is how you break Dallas' zone because
Bam on the perimeter first, Gafford on the perimeter.
So I think it's just different, and that's not a knock on Jason Kidd. That's just the personnel of Dallas. I don't think there's anything he can do to make Luka move faster on defense. That's just you got what you got. Kyrie's still going to be 6'2" out there. So like you got Derek Jones and you got PJ who are mobile and athletic and lengthy, but Derek Lively can move his feet, but he's still a 7'1" guy you're asking to move around if you're doing that. Same thing with Daniel Gafford, who's not very comfortable outside of like 15 feet. So you just don't have the personnel, whereas like Miami have Bam and Jimmy or Haywood Highsmith or Caleb Martin or whatever wing who came from the street to start hooping. Whoever you want to come up with, they have those guys. I think
Dallas doesn't have those guys, and PJ Washington and Derek Jones Jr. in terms of being
those are the two I said they have those two,
right?
And then who? Josh Green.
I mean, Josh Green is a little smaller, no doubt about that.
Yeah, he plays with energy, but then you bring in those guys, you're killing your offense. No disrespect, but that's what you're doing. Yeah, so if you're gonna try and do that, like who are you taking off the floor to bring in these lengthy, rangy, mobile defenders, and then how does that compromise you on the other ends? Unless you're going offense, defense, like how do you do that? Whereas with Miami, you can run those guys because they can shoot, they come on screens, DHOs, all of those things. Josh Green just sits in the corner, and Dante Exum has been borderline unplayable offensively. So it's just personnel issues, I think.
Yeah, and Tatum cooked Josh Green too. I don't know if it was the first or second game they played. Josh Green was starting, and Tatum cooked him. So I don't even know if they're going to play him that much on Tatum.
Yeah, Josh Green's not a defender. He's energy. That's what he is. He's just a ball of energy, just out there, just running, hustling, doing all those things. But he's not a great defender. But he gives the effort. So like you can probably find some minutes for him somewhere.
I do like to see the tone changing a little bit, like from in the super chats for Jason Kidd specifically. during the season, all the super chats were just talking about how bad of a coach Derek J. Kidd is, and we want him out of Dallas. Ask any Mavericks fan, we hate him here. He's a terrible coach. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's terrible with rotations. His offense is this, no schemes, this, that. That's all I heard. And for the
where we at now,
weeks,
Ox? Where we at now, Ox?
I mean, it's day and night, yeah. I'm just happy to see the tone change for my
It
man.
was confusing to me, like when the Dallas fans. I was like, I thought Jason Kidd was cool, but I was like, I haven't watched as many Dallas games as they did.
Yeah.
The biggest issue they seem to have was Tim Hardaway playing as much as he was. But like, I thought he was cool. And and now he's not playing. So I mean, maybe that's why they're liking him. But like, maybe he's just a playoff riser. Like what he does defensively in the playoffs, like he's not doing all this in the regular season. Maybe he's a playoff riser as a coach. We talk about him for players like Reggie Miller, playoff riser, Kawhi Leonard, playoff riser. Maybe Jason Kidd, the coach, is a playoff riser. Maybe that's what he is. In a series where he's able to scheme against you and he's able to come up with game plans instead of the regular season where it's every 2 days.
Yep, whole week
against different teams. Yeah, so then maybe he's a playoff coach. He's a 16 game coach. He's not much of an 82 game coach. But I think Dallas are happy with that.
Also, keep in mind too, Morris, like as a pro, like every game isn't necessarily as important because it's like we got another game tomorrow night. And especially, Jason Kidd played a long career. Once you get older in age, you can't take every game as serious as you would like to because your body just won't allow you to do it. So some nights you might have to pick and choose your moments. Some nights you might just have to take off in general. So maybe throughout the regular season, he isn't as serious as when it's like, okay, every game matters right now. Every minute matters. Every substitution matters. So he's, a little more tactical. But Mars, did you hear what Luka had to say? You brought up his athleticism. Did you hear what he had to say about his athleticism? Anybody?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I heard it. There's something like how he's still athletic, even though he's not running and dunking and stuff like that. Like he does more like, what was it, like lateral movement or something?
Yeah, so he said the reporters brought up his athleticism and he said, or his lack of athleticism, and he said word for word, he said, I'm athletic in different ways that they don't see. He said everything is not just jumping and running fast.
Oh, I agree with that. I've said that before on Open Gym. He just copied me. Luka think he's smart. I said that a long time ago, but no, I'm trolling. I did say that though, but he didn't copy me. But no, I think the typical athleticism is about explosive, like speed, vertical, like those, like the things you can see. But like, I've always considered athleticism to be anything that you can do with your body and with what you have. So balance is a part of athleticism to me. Deceleration is a part of athleticism to me. Acceleration. Yeah, like all those things are part of athleticism to me. So like Luka being able to decelerate better than basically anyone in the league, that's a part of athleticism to me. So like his spatial awareness is a part of athleticism to me. Coordination is a part of athleticism to me. So like if that's how he's looking at it, endurance, part of athleticism. So like if that's how he's looking at it, like I don't know, maybe I don't think he went that specific or like what he was saying. But I view those things as athletic qualities, which is like, I'm not going to say, oh yeah, Luka's more athletic than like Aaron Gordon, but like I would still view him as an athlete, as an athletic, not an athletic player for like NBA standards, but he's not, I don't think he's a bad athlete. I think he just doesn't have the prototypical athletic skills of like Zion, but I think he's still athletic. And so I said that a while ago. I think I was talking about Jokic when I said it, but yeah, nice to Luka.
Mars, don't you think it's similar to like when people talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo is not as skilled as, let's say, another basketball player? He's still skilled, but he may not skill is like James Harden, because skill set can be like eye coordination, reads, agility, nature. So it reminds me of that kind of
like skill, like people view like skill as like most people consider skill ball handling, shooting, and like those things. But like I think it's skill to be able to finish at the rim, like above the rim, below the rim. That's skill. Like being able to get to the basket is a skill. Obviously, like decision making, IQ, passing are all skills. Like I think we narrowed down the definitions of words, which I guess like makes sense because like you don't want to have an all-encompassing, everything's just all-encompassing of everything, because then what's the point of even having terms? But I think we should be willing to broaden our understanding of these terms and not minimize skill to just, oh, can you dribble and shoot? Because then we're saying Shaq wasn't skilled. I think Shaq was extremely skilled. And it's like, Kyrie's the most skilled player ever, which I think is a valid thing to have. I think he's one of the most skilled players ever. But like, is he inherently more skilled than someone who has physical gifts but is also able to get to the basket and is one of the smartest players ever, who's a great passer and playmaker? Like, is Magic Johnson not skilled because he wasn't much of a shooter, even though he was maybe the best passer ever? Like, how are we weighing which skill is more skilled than the other skill? I think it's similar with that.
And on top of Luka being non-athletic, well, there has to be some athleticism there because he's going up against some of the best athletes in the world. He's still getting by these guys. And it's not like he's just literally walking past them. No, he understands angles, right? He understands how to get past guys. He understands how to get guys in position where he can get past them. Now, because he's not blowing by guys like Kyrie Irving or Steve Francis or somebody like that, that doesn't diminish Luka's athleticism. I'm not going to say that he's the athlete that, I don't know, James Harden is. He's not the athlete that Russell Westbrook is. No, but Luka plays his game a little bit more methodical. Luka plays his game at a slower pace, which works for his athleticism. He doesn't play as fast as people would like him to play and jump out the gym. Even though he did dunk the ball on Drew Holiday once. I did see him do that. But with that being said, he still plays with the level of athleticism that's extremely effective. You know, a lot of people talk about how Bird wasn't athletic. I mean, Bird blowing by guys, and he's blowing by guys, understanding how to get by guys. So I think Luka knows how to maximize his athletic ability instead of just trying to run by people, instead of just trying to blow guys' doors off. He knows exactly how to get by a guy, how to put a guy on his hip, how to get a guy in jail. Stuff like that, I think, is really important for what Luka does as an athlete.
Have you heard the term like someone scores 30 and they're like, oh, that was a quiet 30? Like, it was, like, I think Luka doesn't have loud athleticism. I think he has quiet athleticism. It's like he doesn't have the tip. Like, he's not going to jump off the screen. He's not going to run out in he's not going to be Amen Thompson, Jalen Green, Zion. He's not going to jump over you or run faster than you. But he has the quiet athleticism. He has the balance, the
it's
coordination.
not the sneaky athleticism, no more. This guy,
sneaky athleticism. You just see a white guy who can dunk. It's sneaky athlete. That's right. Sneaky athleticism. Quiet athleticism. Quiet athleticism is he has athletic skills that people don't recognize as like that's only things the top tier of athletes can do. Like people who look at Giannis, it's like, okay, we can see that's one-of-one athleticism. But you look at Luka and you look at his change of pace, or you look at his deceleration. It's like, oh, what? He went from slow to slower? Wow. But then you go out on a basketball court, try to do what Luka does. You can't do it. Like, you can't slow your body down as well as he can. You can't change direction as well as he can. You can't play off your pivot as well as he can. You don't have as much balance as he does. You don't have the ability to play through contact as well as he does. All of those are athletic skills. So, like, it's quiet athleticism. He's not going to jump
when
over
I first saw that,
but that's
to be honest with you,
top of the level.
When I first saw that, Mars, I thought that it was when he would slow himself down, where he was already going slow and then almost stop, and guys were still moving. I thought that it was illegal. I was like, wait a minute, you can't do that, can you? That's not, but only except yes, you can do that.
Depends on the player, because they always be calling Trey Young fouls when he be trying to do that shit. So.
Right, and I'm watching Luke, and I'm like, wait a minute, you can't do that, can you? Well, turns out you can do that.
Luke is definitely above average athlete compared to most average people. As far as professional athletes, top tier athletes, he's not. I mean, yeah, he's good balance. He has really good balance. He can stop and go, but it's more so like he's slow, and so it's like, yeah, he's slowing down because he's slow. His skill set is being able to be as strong as he is, using his body. Like that's more so a skill, if you ask me. It's like, you know, he one of them chubby kids with game. It's like, you know, he
Luka definitely one of the fat kids at the playground.
Yeah, yes, he kind of smooth. He kind of smooth. He got that Paul Pierce. He can get anywhere he wants because he knows how to use his body. I don't really consider. I wouldn't really consider quickly. It's not going left. I'm just saying, like, I just don't.
About how athletic he was, to now call him fat boy with.
Well,
wait a minute. You fight that wrong?
That's how it starts. That's how it starts, bro. You can look at his game. You can tell that's one of them chubby. That's one of them. You remember them young chubby kids that was just cold. Like, okay, he know how to use his body. He's fat, but he gets there. You know, he's not fast. He's slow. But
I didn't let fat boys give me buckets. So
he's definitely one of them fat kids on the playground.
I'm not saying give
run that fast.
Yeah, like or how'd you not even how'd you run so fast? Like, how'd you get there?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely one of
Like,
them kids, Ron.
how'd you get over there? So I think it's a really good skill, but I'm not calling that athleticism though.
Yeah, I would agree to Ron with you guys for some degree. If you were to make a scouting report of Luka Doncic right now, are you putting athletic on the scouting report? No. So when someone says you're athletic, we think about now Anthony Edwards is like a super athletic, but think about someone like that. Just because you have some athleticism, every human on earth has some athleticism, but that doesn't mean you're athletic. When they use that word athletic, they think about the guy who's strong, who could run, who's twitchy, can be lateral quick, who can jump. That's what they mean by, oh, you're athletic. Everyone in the NBA is an athlete. You cannot make the NBA without being an athlete. But just because you have some athleticism doesn't mean you're athletic. That's
well, I think it's all about like how people view the game, to be honest. Because if that's the case, when people say that Giannis is not skilled, when most of the casual viewers view the game of basketball, they think a skill set like Mars was talking about with handling and shooting a jump shot. So same thing with athleticism. Like, of course, you have to be athletic to be in the NBA and things of that nature. But I think what we're trying to say is like Luka's athleticism is very like sneaky. And it's just like he does things that the above average human being cannot do, especially if you go on a basketball court. I played basketball. I played in college. But I can't do things that Luka Doncic can do because I don't have the athleticism, even though if you look at the lens of it, if you see me and him on the basketball court, most people are going to be like, damn, I probably want that guy because he's black and he probably can jump a little higher. But Luka Doncic is probably more athletic than me in ways that most people can't see. So I think that's what we're kind of trying to get like people to kind of understand.
A quick side note, and I still have not gotten a satisfactory answer on this. Where did this narrative come that Giannis wasn't skilled? Where did that come from?
James
run and
Harden.
dunk, man.
Run and dunk.
Not saying like, well, James Harden, they had the little rivalry where
right.
James Harden said basically what Giannis does takes no skill, and that if he was 6'11" and athletic, he could just run and dunk too. And everyone just ran with it that James Harden is skill. Giannis is just stronger than everyone. He runs and dunks. He does his game takes no skill. From then on, it's been Giannis.
Well,
has no skill.
That didn't come from James Harden. Like it was
that's when it exploded into.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's when people start. I guess exploded. Talking, but I mean, we all saw what James Harden was seeing. Like, and some people didn't look at it the same way as James Harden looked at it. Some people respected it more, but everybody can see what Giannis was out there doing. And I guess James Harden just didn't respect it.
He was the one who said it didn't take skill, and I guess that's where everyone kind of was like, "Oh, yep, see, Giannis, no skill, man. We not moved." And now 5 years later,
it's athleticism, though. Like people are gonna say that. Like, I agree, with James Harden to a certain degree, but that doesn't negate the fact that Giannis Antetokounmpo isn't a skilled basketball player just because he can't create his own dribble the way, let's say, Kobe Bryant can, or shoot, have different counters or footwork, things of that nature. Like he's still skilled, but it is more players that are more skilled than him. Same with the athleticism of what Casual was saying.
I mean, I think that's just what it is, though. It's like he's not as skilled as him, but he still can do other things. He's dope. Right. He's still dope, but he don't have the same skill set. And I think we all know we're talking about like a basketball skill set, like the ability to control the ball, handle the rock, pass, do this, and actually, at a proficient level, be able to do that. And he's not at that level, but he doesn't have to be. So it doesn't really matter. I think that's the main thing. It's like it's not really a lie, but that doesn't diminish how dope he is, though. Like same with Luka. Luka, you're not athletic, but you're cold, and athletes can't guard you. So what is who cares? You know what I mean?
It's like saying it's like when you say Bob's right. Like when you say Luka is unathletic, saying unathletic is probably like, or not an athlete, it's probably not the right word. Right. But because they have athleticism. Giannis has skill, but it's not the right word to say. But you know what they mean when they say Giannis is not skilled or Luka's not athletic. You know what they mean. They're just not at that level of skill or athleticism. You know what they mean. It's not the right word, though, because they are wrong in a sense. Like they have skill. Giannis has skill around the rim. Blocking shots is a skill. Moving, knowing where you are on the court, it's a skill. I mean, that takes training, but you're not at that level of skill. And that's what people mean by when they say skill, a skilled basketball player, they think about that level. And they wouldn't put Giannis in that skilled basketball player level. It's not saying Giannis doesn't have skill, but that's what they mean. I don't agree, but I understand where they're coming from.
Being 7 feet tall, 270 pounds, 260, I don't know, however much he weighs, and being able to be full speed down the court Pick up, take 2 dribbles from half court, pick the ball up here, step over here, and then dunk like this.
Skill.
Come on, bro. Like I don't care if you could dribble to the legs. You might not got all that skill, but you don't need it. I don't care what y'all. I don't care. So.
Yo, Bob, I'm glad you went there too, because that's something I was gonna say about Luka as well. Luka's 6'8".
Yeah.
I don't know how much he weighs, but we do know
about 320.
We do know he's heavier, but also too, so Ahmad, you was talking about you can't do certain things that Luka can do. Yeah. Part of it is because it's just his body frame. Luka's 6'8" and strong as an ox. Like Luka gets on the court anywhere he wants to, not just based on his deceptive speed and his quickness, but because Luka's so strong, nobody can stop him from going there. Yeah. And I like Mars, you talk a lot about him getting people in jail. Because Luka got you on your back, it's nothing you could do. Because he's so strong, he maneuvers wherever he wants to. So that's something too about his athleticism that we kind of sleep on. Is just a lot of his athleticism is his upper body strength, his core strength, his balance as well, kind of how Mars has said, and just the fact that he's 6'8".
How big is he legit, Ron? Legit.
6'7".
I haven't heard anything smaller than 6'7". So I'm comfortably saying 6'7".
He like 6'8", 230. He like 6'8", 230, something like that.
That's huge, B. That is not a small dude. That's a big dude.
Big guy.
Huge.
I got another super chat from Nashville Ninja. This person said the glazing is crazy, Ron. I know. The goalpost has to be in another country right now. The same people said OKC would mop the Mavs. Then they had no chance versus Ant-Man. Now they have no chance at all. Shaking my head.
No one said they had no chance.
Wait, did people have OKC?
I had Minnesota smoking them. I had Minnesota smoking them. I ain't gonna lie.
What OKC?
I will definitely own that. I had Minnesota smoking them in 5 games.
OKC was gonna mop them.
Oh, I didn't say mop, but hey, I was picking OKC just because I wanted to.
I thought majority didn't have OKC going that far.
That's irrelevant. That's irrelevant. It don't matter if I had the Celtics winning, if Mars had OKC winning, if Chill had Minnesota winning, because this is the Boston Celtics.
Different matchup. Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? It don't matter. They not beating them. So
I also want the record to show I picked Minnesota for the sake of the KD agenda still being true of he loses to every team that goes to the finals. But
I think a lot of people saw Minnesota beat Denver, and we all thought Denver was like this inevitable force that was just going to go back to back, maybe a dynasty. And everyone got high off Minnesota and Anthony Edwards, and immediately just thought, oh yeah, if they beat Denver, they're going to beat Dallas. But they didn't really break down the exact matchup, how Minnesota looks really good against Denver, but not really good against Dallas.
Yeah,
right? The matchup was different. The matchup was different.
And I think now that we know basketball's more a game of matchups and Dallas is different against matchup teams, we got to see how they play against the matchup of Boston rather than, they just beat Denver. Oh, no one said they were going to beat Minnesota. Let's just break down the matchup and just forget about the Western Conference.
I just felt like that defense, perimeter defense with Minnesota, would counter what Dallas was doing.
Yeah, then we found out that Jaden McDaniels is too skinny.
No, can't do it. And
then you realize Kat didn't get better on defense. It just turns out he's good at guarding bigs.
Well, I also think part of that series wasn't necessarily the defense of Minnesota. It was really just Kat and Anthony Edwards just melting down in those first games and giving the series away. I think if those games were so close, if Kat and Ant played better in those first 3 games, we have a different series in the West Finals. And that's on offense.
I also felt like Denver was them being Denver was kind of like their championship. Kind of like the World Championship in a way. Nobody.
I thought it was.
That's kind of how it felt. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was watching the finals. Damn.
I thought the Western Conference Championship was just I thought that was just an anomaly.
That's how I thought. That's how they kind of came into it as well. Shit, we got another series. Yeah, a series afterwards. So
I got another super chat from Almighty Scambo. He said, "Finally, a real ball knower on the panel. #Cavs Nation." Casual, you got a fan out here. He also said, Mavs and foe, it was written over Illmatic, Elron, El Bozos, Dub Ox. Mars.
I'll take man. I'll take it.
Man is better than an L.
Yeah, I'll take it. It was written over Illmatic?
Yeah, that's an interesting take. No. Before my time, but still no.
No, it was not. It was written was a dope album. I won't argue that, but for the record, it was written, Illmatic had no guest appearances on it. All 10 tracks was Nas and Nas only. And all 10 tracks was fire. Nas was introducing new MCs on it. It was written. And I can't say all of that stuff was as fire as Illmatic. Not all of it. Mm-mm.
All right, moving along. Irregular sent through a super chat. It said Tim Hardaway Jr. and Exum was also a part of the lineup in that regular season game. LOL. And now the Wolves don't have perimeter defenders. Where's the receipts at?
No, they have perimeter defenders. The difference is they also have guys you have to hide.
Yeah, they also
you can have both. They have Jaden McDaniels, they have Nikhil, they have Ant, who's a good on-ball defender.
Mm-hmm.
That's all true. The Boston Celtics don't have a Karl Anthony Towns who you can't put anywhere because all he can do is guard post-ups. And Dallas don't post up. So then where do you use him? I watched him try and hedge a pick and roll. He started setting screens on Jaden McDaniels. I don't know what you're meant to do with that. Like, how do you hide that? Boston don't have that. And there's also Mike Conley, who they have to try and hide. They ended up putting Mike Conley on Kyrie because they had nowhere to put him. That didn't work. So then guess what? Now they're just setting double screens. Luka and Kyrie. Mike Conley switched on to Luka. Now you have to double. Like, Minnesota have great defenders, but they also have guys you have to try and hide within your scheme.
And also
Boston not going to be out there trying to hide Drew Holiday or Jayson Tatum or Jaylen Brown or Derek White. That's the difference.
Go ahead, A.
No, I was just also going to say, like, also that perimeter defense, when you get stops, it's not translating the buckets on the other end. The game's about putting the ball in the hoop as well. So it's just like, we look at the Boston Celtics, they got guys that can guard the perimeter, but they also got guys that can go on the opposite end and put the ball.
Right.
So
that's the thing about Minnesota's a defense that turns their defense into offense. And when they can't get stops, they're forced in the half court for all 24 seconds in the shot clock. They can't get a ball.
That was their biggest problem. Was their biggest problem. And it wasn't the action with Minnesota. The Minnesota's action was really good. The problem was converting on that action. That was it.
Well, when Cat gives you 5 points in the first 3 games in the fourth quarter,
man, we can't do nothing with that. We can't.
You're not winning those ball games.
We can't do anything with that. There's nothing that we can do with that. And I struggle. Mars talks about it. Ahmad, you talk about it. Casual, you guys. I struggle with the term hiding guys. Like, the NBA is at a level where you can't hide anybody. We know who you are. We know what you do. So the best option we have is to protect you. That's why, and the example that I consistently bring up is the 2022 in West Finals, where the Dallas Mavericks were consistently hunting. They were going after Steph Curry, and Andrew Wiggins would not allow it. Not only would Andrew Wiggins not allow it, Iguodala would not allow it. They did everything that they could do to protect Steph Curry from that. You can't hide these guys from what's going on. Like, we can't hide Al Horford. Al Horford has been an all-league defender in the past. Al Horford's played defense at an elite level. So Al Horford can still play defense, even at the age of 38. I don't want him on Kyrie Irving, however. I don't want him on Luka Doncic. So we can't hide him. What we can do is we can protect him from these guys. We can very well protect them, fighting over screens, making sure that we can't get him in switching action. We can't do that. Because when I think about hiding guys, I think about completely shielding, not shielding them, like you don't even know about these guys. No, you know that they're out there. You know that they're here, and we know that you're going after them. So the idea is to protect these guys more than hide them.
Well, hiding's like putting Luka on Kyle Anderson and just letting him sit in the corner. I think that's like an example of hiding.
And that's
and they can't do that against Boston. And they can't do that against Boston.
That's the other problem with other teams' offense, right? Where if you recognize that Luka's on a mismatch with Kyle Anderson, or they go into a zone where you put Luka on the front line of the zone, they're protecting him, as opposed to when you run your offense and you're going after Luka. You're doing everything that you can to get Luka in switching action. I don't think Dallas can protect Luka as much. I don't think that they can protect Luka as much as Boston can protect Al Horford.
No, I mean, you can't have Luka just sit and just sag on Westbrook or sag on Giddey or sag on Kyle Anderson. You got 5 shooters on the perimeter. Good luck. Right. And they're going to find you because 4 of them can get their own shot. White, Holiday, Brown. It's a different matchup.
And that's the other problem with Dallas. So with the exception of Kyrie Irving, Luka is responsible so much for all of these other guys' offense. Mm-hmm. He's responsible for Daniel Gafford getting off. He's responsible for Derek Lively. He's responsible for P.J. Washington. Mm-hmm. He's responsible for all these other guys getting off. Derek White does not need Jayson Tatum to get going.
Nope.
I'm sorry. Drew Holiday does not need Jaylen Brown to get busy. He doesn't. Al Horford does not need any of these guys to crack the long ball. He doesn't need that. He might need you to throw him the ball in the box, but for the most part, he doesn't need these guys to get busy. So I think that's another problem for the Dallas Mavericks.
And then we're not even, and we just assuming that Kristaps Porzingis is not even going to play. If he plays, he gives them a whole nother different setup because he can throw him in the high post, pick and pop action as well. So it can get scary.
I can see Boston hunting Luka a lot. I can see Boston putting Luka one-on-one on an island and hunt him a lot. Like before Tyrese Halliburton got hurt, they were hunting Tyrese a lot when they wanted to get buckets quickly. I see them doing a lot to Luka. And you tire Luka out, takes a lot away from other guys' offense.
I'm on record, Casual, saying that I feel like Boston's best defense is their offense. Go after Luka. Don't let him off the hook. And I don't just mean get the ball to Jaylen Brown on the wing. I don't mean get the ball to Jayson Tatum on the wing and let him go one-on-one. No, put Luka in action and make Luka guard. Make him continuously guard. And if you make him continuously guard like they did the first time they played them, I remember in Dallas, it was the last 5 minutes of the game. Coach Mazzulla he made a conscious effort to go after Luka and make sure that Jaylen Brown is eventually, not immediately, but eventually switched on to him. And once he got switched on to him, Luka couldn't do anything with Jaylen Brown. Now the shot clock's at 9 or 8, and Jaylen Brown's going quick, and he's just going after Luka. If you're doing that, you put them in a bind.
Mm-hmm. Do you think if they do that the best strategy for the Dallas Mavericks with Luka Doncic is just kind of like to slow the game down completely? Like just when I say like just control and dictate the pace on the offensive side.
That'll screw that could work, but that screws them up. Dallas is one of the fastest paced teams in the league.
That's what
if they end up slowing the game down, that hampers them now, right? Because guys like Derek Lively, who's great in transition, Gafford, who's great in transition. These guys aren't very good in the half court consistently. They depend on Luka getting them the basketball, and not just getting them the basketball in positions where they could score. That works a lot when they're in transition. Daniel Gafford's running to the rim. Lively's running to the rim. Derek Jones is looking for lobs. He's out in transition. PJ Washington is running to the long ball line. Well, now if we're just in the half court, and now we just have Luka pounding the basketball, trying to get these guys in offense against a Boston Celtic team, which is one of the better defensive teams in the league, that's a recipe for disaster.
I got a super chat from ZKJ. They said Dallas to save basketball. You said they have 5 guys who can score 20, yet they're not a super team.
Here we go.
Also,
here we go.
How does JT and Luka conversation change if they win when JT is not the bus driver? He can play bad and they still win. Luka can't.
Luka and JT is not a conversation. That's all I'm saying.
Based on what?
Luka Doncic is better of basketball. I feel like last time I was on the show, we were talking about it.
You don't know how many times we've had this discussion. It feels like every day. I think we have a Jayson.
That's all I'm going to say. I don't feel like I have to explain that Luka is the better basketball player. He's just in the better tier. And especially if JT's not the bus driver. I don't think they win this series without JT being the bus driver, though. But unless Jaylen Brown has this like superhero series where he's like 30-plus points per game, I don't see that happen.
What does it mean that Jayson Tatum's not the bus driver when he's been the best player leading his team to multiple Eastern Conference Finals appearances?
He said not the bus driver, as in, I assume, not the leading scorer. It's like Brown's a leader. Brown's taking the late shots.
It's such a dumb way to talk about
I know. I don't like talking basketball. That's why I said that's all I'm going to say. Right. But, yeah.
I don't know why we're judging players by if they can drive a bus. I don't know.
Excuse me. I think it's interesting that if the Dallas Mavericks win the NBA championship, right? The Dallas Mavericks win the NBA championship, the conversation for Luka being the best player on the planet, even though I still think it's joking.
He will be.
It gets even louder.
It's a double standard when it comes
right now it gets even louder. However, if the Celtics win the NBA championship, Jayson Tatum gets busy, he's not in that conversation. He's not in that conversation at all.
It's a thing called confirmation bias, right? And
sure.
I'm gonna relay it back to football. Hopefully, you guys can understand what I'm saying. Lionel Messi, right? You guys have heard of him. Yep. He's considered like the greatest of all time by most people. Yeah, sure. By most people, he's considered the greatest of all time. He then went and won the World Cup in 2022. So people use that as like, see, Messi's the GOAT. The 2022 World Cup, he's the GOAT. They were calling him the GOAT in 2020. They were already doing it. They just used the World Cup as like, now what can you say? He's already done this. The people saying Luka is better than Jayson Tatum or is going to be the best in the world with the championship. They already think he's the best.
Right.
They already believe that. But with the championship, it comes to like, well, now what can you say? Before it was like Luka can't win. So that was the argument why he's not the best. But now he's won. You can't say that anymore. So now, even though I thought Luka was the best for 8 months, now I can finally say it, and you guys can't push back on me.
What about
it's not the winning proved it. It's like they already felt that way. They just use it as like now you can't say anything against it.
But
go ahead.
Why though?
What about people that think Tatum is better than him? Because they value
if the people that think Tatum are better, if Boston win, they're going to use the ring as the proof. Like, so they played not one-on-one. They played against each other in the finals. Yep. Tatum's team won. Tatum is better. They already thought Tatum was better before the series happened. Like, people who think Tatum is better right now, if Boston lose, they're still going to think Tatum is better. They're just going to end up losing the arguments because the team lost. If they think Tatum's better and Boston win, they're going to use Boston winning as the proof.
But
that's what's going to happen.
The reason why I can't think that, Moss, I understand your logic.
That's why I'm asking these questions.
I understand your logic, Moss, but I can't think that. And the reason why I can't think that is the same reason why if a guy outplays a guy when the conversation about them is close.
It's not close
when two guys have when guys are close in tiers, which I feel like Jayson Tatum and Luka are close. And if Luka ends up, or if Jayson Tatum ends up outplaying him, I can't listen to the logic that, well, Jayson Tatum was on a better team. I can't listen. I won't listen to that logic. I'm not trying to hear that. Just like I won't hear the logic if Luka outplays Jayson Tatum, he choked. I'm not going to hear that. It's just going to be he outplayed him, and we got confirmation that this guy is better. Because again, Mars, we've already had this conversation. There's some things in this series that are going to get settled, and winning matters. Winning absolutely matters. So if you go up against a guy and we're in the playoffs and the conversation is close and you end up getting outplayed, that conversation gets louder. You have to respect that. If you don't, then you're completely off when you're completely subjective when you're talking about your guy and you're not objective at all.
Winning matters. Winning matters. But I got to see how these two play. In this, and it's not just these two. I mean, Jaylen Brown is involved in this. Luka, Kyrie Irving, how all these guys perform is going to be my talking points after this series. Like, I'm sure Boston is going to win this series, whether it be 5, 6, or 7. But I want to know how. Like, is Jayson Tatum going to finally step up and take his crown? Like, I am as good as I think I am.
Right.
You know, is he going to? Like my man said, is he gonna have a choke job, or what you call it, like a meltdown?
A meltdown.
Right. What are we gonna get from Jayson Tatum? What are we gonna get from Luka Doncic? Though I want to see these two go at it. I want to see a battle. I want to see some corral type games, you know. But I don't know what we're gonna get. But I'm not gonna just base it solely off of what team wins this. If Boston wins in 7, but Jayson Tatum shot away, Jayson Tatum came with silver dollar eyes, and Luka Doncic balled out and did everything, you know, played defense, you know what I'm saying, gave good passes, wasn't throwing grenades, I'm gonna have to, you know, he outplayed him.
But what it's
Mars, you do know that it is, in some people's eye, it's like very close.
Some
so because I know you, and I'm saying that to say, you said like people already have their preconceived notions.
Oh yeah,
and some people,
there are some people who are using this to decide. Yeah, there's definitely the people in the middle who are like, I don't know, and whoever wins or plays better is like, okay, now I think Tatum's better because they won and he played better. There's definitely those people. The vast majority have already picked their side. Like casual up there, he's picked Luka's better. If they win, great. See, Luka's better. He won. If they lose, Luka's still better. Like, what are we gonna do about that? Like,
it's
the people
also
who think
some people
Tatum
that can
better,
be
like,
flipped,
they
though.
too.
Some people can be flipped. So
it depends on what you value, though, in certain players. So some people value two-way players, which is Jayson Tatum. Some people value Luka Doncic, who is this offensive machine and playmaking god. So it also depends on what you value. Like I said, I need to see how the game takes fold. I need to see if Jayson Tatum's going to guard Luka Doncic in a close game, if he locks him up or gets stopped. I need to see if Jayson Tatum's going to be able to go and maybe match offensive firepower. I need to see if Luka Doncic is not going to shy away from a defensive matchup against a Jaylen Brown or Jayson Tatum. Is he going to actually like go out there and try to play defense. I think everything matters. I don't think it can just be this black and white conversation on just because I think that Luka Doncic is better than Jayson Tatum, and if he loses, I still think he's better. Like what you do on the basketball court, and I'm from that old like NBA where head-to-head matters to me. Like guarding guys in your position matters to me. What that opposing player does in his position, what I do in my position, it kind of matters to me. So I want to see all that.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal to me.
But it's not everything. They play 82 games of basketball. They play 3 more series in the playoffs. There's more than just one series.
Of course, but it's about like the respect that you have against going for your opponent and not shying away for those moments. Like when Kobe went up against Dwayne Wade, every time they went up against each other, they were guarding each other. They were trying to outdo each other. I think that's like matters to certain individuals.
So if Luka goes for 32 in the finals and Tatum goes for 29, but Tatum wins, does that move the needle to say that Tatum is on the level of Luka? Although Luka had a better series but lost.
Well, you said he had a better series based on 3 points, and this is the thing.
Well, then we have our
assist. But like once we have these preconceived, like we don't know how these stats are being accumulated. Yeah. We're projecting. Jayson Tatum can average 29, 10 and 5, and Luka can average 32, 9 and 10. That doesn't just inherently mean Luka played better just because the box score looks prettier. Like, just because Luka filled the box score more doesn't mean he played better. How many defensive assignments did he blow? How many missed passes did he have? Just because he had the ball 60% of the time, so he got more assists and got more touches, does that mean he played better? Not necessarily. And I'm not saying Luka isn't going to play better. I'm just saying, like, we're trying to conjure up what we're going to say if this guy averages this, instead of, like, let's watch the series unfold and actually decide what we think after we've seen it. We can't just be like, well, if he averaged 35 and he averages 27, he's clearly better than him. How did those 35 come around? How did his 27 come around?
No.
Jayson Tatum isn't as close to his ball dominant as Luka is. So he's not going to fill the box score like Luka Doncic does. He's just like, that's evidently not going to happen. The way Boston plays isn't with someone who's dominating every possession, deciding who gets the ball in what position. They want to hunt a mismatch. They want to get Jaylen Brown the ball in his spots. They want to get Jayson Tatum the ball in his spots. They want to run their guard to guard action with Derek White and Jayson Tatum. Like, they do it differently. So the box score is always going to look different. So we shouldn't just be already saying, oh, well, if Luka does this, he's better because he had more box score numbers. Like, let's see how he got those numbers. Like, well, it's also what we should be waiting for.
You are right. It's also, but it's not that he just had more box score numbers. The reason why he had higher box score numbers is because he has more responsibility than Tatum would in this series, which would also mean like their wins would kind of be different. But I don't want to get. I don't like talking basketball that way. That's how the question was asked. I don't really like talking basketball that way, but.
You don't run from it, Casual, because you're the one that was saying that.
I'm not running for it. I just think it's like it's like Tatum is not on that tier. So I think Luka is in that best player alive tier. I don't think when I see Tatum play, I don't think he's in the best player alive tier.
And you think that Luka Doncic is in the best player alive tier?
Yes.
Who's in that tier?
A little guest beef. I can get behind this.
Who's in the tier best player alive?
Yep.
Jokic, Giannis, Luka, and then Embiid. The Embiid's weird because you want to put Embiid in there because when he's healthy, in the regular season at least, he is playing best player alive basketball. But as we saw last season, this season, but Embiid will take him out just because he's never truly healthy. He gets that excuse in the postseason. So those are the 3 players. I don't have Tatum in that tier. Tatum's next in line. I think the Luka and Tatum, he's next in line. I'd put Tatum as like anywhere from 5 to 7 in the world, but I don't think he's in that best player alive tier. I don't think you could watch the Celtics and see best player alive player from Tatum. Part of that's because his team is so good, he doesn't have to take over a game like Luka. But I think you can also tell from just the years of them playing that Tatum also can't like Luka could.
But that's more like a notion on play styles because, like Morris said, like Luka Doncic has the ball in his hands 60% of the time, 70% of the time. Like his play style is a dual forward. So when we talk about a dual forward, that's a player that's
Who would you want with the ball most in their hands, Luka or Tatum?
I'd want my point guard with the ball in his hands.
Well,
I'd rather have Rondo have the ball in his hands than Jayson Tatum. I don't think Rondo's better than him.
And that's exactly.
Yes, your lead guard, not your
Yeah.
you thinking about
They're different roles.
what Casual is thinking about. It just so happens that Luka happens to be the point guard, but you thinking about him as the best player. That's not what
Man,
he's
will
saying.
you guys stop? Y'all know what he's saying. I hate
You know what
y'all
I
do
said.
this. Y'all know exactly
He
what
He said, "Who would you rather with the
Would you
ball in
rather
their
have the ball in
hand?"
hand?
I need
Okay,
you to get
okay,
it.
24
You'd
seconds
rather
in the
have Luka
game.
Doncic.
24
I want the one
seconds in
to. I want the
Who do you
better player
want to
at
have the
initiating
ball?
offense.
Ron.
24
In
seconds
the
on the
06
shot
finals,
clock.
Ron,
Actually,
in the
look,
06
10 seconds
finals,
on the shot
who
clock.
would you rather
Who do
have
you
the
want to have
ball?
the ball?
Dwayne Wade or Jason
on.
Williams? Like, this is what we're not going to do. Just because Jason Williams
But
is the point guard,
Dwayne
I
Wade
want the
can
ball in
Dwayne Wade could
Wade's
initiate
hands
point. Dwayne
more
Wade could
than I want
initiate
Jason
offense. There's a
Williams.
difference to Jason. Once again, it goes back to roles. Jason Tatum and Dwayne Wade aren't similar in role. Dwayne Wade was a combo guard. Dwayne Wade initiated offense for the Heat.
And Jason Tatum
Jason Tatum isn't that.
And
Go
Jayson
ahead, sorry.
Tatum and Jayson Tatum and Luka Doncic have different.
Okay, I want the
Exactly.
ball in Nikola Jokic's hands when Reggie Jackson's the point guard or something like
Yeah,
that.
like I said, it's about responsibility. I used Rondo because he's the prototype. Like he gets everyone involved.
Just so happens
Jokic does that
that
from the center position.
Luka
Like you're
happens to
using
be the
guys.
best player and
You're
the point
using
guard.
guys who that's their role on the team.
Right.
Jokic is the one who gets everyone the ball where they need to get it more than Jamal
Okay,
Murray,
Giannis
even though Jamal
or
Murray's a
Drew
point guard.
Holiday.
Drew Holiday is notoriously bad at that.
Okay, so you want Giannis.
Yes, because he's better at it than Drew. Because that's his Drew.
Okay,
Drew
but
Holiday,
Drew's on
Drew-
Tatum's
I'm not. You're going
But
back to
Drew's
it.
on
Like,
Tatum's
oh,
team.
he's a point guard.
But Drew's on
Jason
Tatum's
Tatum's role isn't to just have the ball in his hands and set up offense. Luka Doncic is. So if you're going to ask who would you rather have in that role, Luka Doncic. That doesn't inherently mean he's a better player. I'd rather have Luka Doncic with the ball in his hands over a lot of people. That don't mean I think that he's better than them.
But your
Because
star
some guys are
player
better
would
without
have
the ball.
in his
I'd rather
hands
have Luka have the ball
more.
than Steph Curry. I don't think Luka is better than Steph Curry was at his peak.
But
That's
at the
not a
end
knock. I just
But at
think
the end of
you're
the day,
asking them
your
to do
star
different
player
things.
has the ball in his hands more than anybody on the team, regardless of his position.
Okay. But I'm
And
saying
that's what I
you
was trying to say.
You can't judge players based on roles that they're not in.
And that's what I was trying to
Luka
say.
is better
Who would
at
you
his
want
role.
to have the ball.
Yeah.
I actually
Luka, I'd rather Luka in the role that he's actually in
And
versus
Jason
versus putting Jason Tatum in the role he's not in. I'm not putting a square peg in a round hole. I'd rather Jason Tatum in an off-ball hybrid role than Luka Doncic. Does that mean Jason Tatum is better than Luka? No, because you're trying to put Jason Tatum in Luka's role and say who would be better at it. Luka
I
is
didn't
better
say
at
to
his
play with
role
Luka's
than
role.
Jason Tatum would be at his role. And it's the same way.
You had to do Luka's role. I just say you have the ball. Who would you want with it more?
So player for player.
That is Luka's role.
They don't have to set up an
saying it without
offense. They
saying
can go
it.
get a bucket.
You're
They
saying
don't
it
have
without
to run
saying
an
it.
offense. They can go get a bucket. They don't have to run an offense. Tatum's a pretty decent
You're saying
playmaker
it without
too.
saying
I
it.
wanted to say
Luka
Tatum
is better with the ball in his hands than Jason Tatum. I agree with that. Luka's role is to have the ball in his hands, whereas Jason Tatum's role is more of an off-ball hybrid.
Traditional.
I agree
Would
with
you rather have
everything.
the ball more in his hands?
Can I
Shaq or
finish?
Derek
Can I
Fisher?
finish?
Shaq
Can I
or
finish?
Derek Fisher?
Can I finish?
Okay. Okay.
I agree with everything that you're laying out that Luka is better at that thing than Jason Tatum is. What I am saying is it doesn't prove that Luka Doncic is a better player because you are putting Jason Tatum in a role that isn't his, and it is Luka Doncic's role. That comparison I think is flawed because I think if you said who would you rather have in Jason Tatum's role between the two, we would all pick Jason Tatum because of his defensive responsibility, his ability to play without the basketball, his ability to play within a flow of an offense, a system. He's probably better at those things than Luka. That doesn't mean Jason Tatum's a better player. I think it comes down to archetypes and how your skill set translates. I think Luka's the better player for all intents and purposes. I just think it is disingenuous to say who would you rather have with the ball in their hands when that is Luka Doncic's primary role and that is where he brings his value and it isn't where Jason Tatum brings his. I think it's just a disingenuous way to frame the question.
So Tatum's not better
for the sake of you saying Luka's better.
So Tatum's not better.
No,
because
I don't
if you
think
can't tell me that your best player just can't have the ball in his hands.
I never said he can't.
I know, but
I said Luka's better at
he has to play Luka's role. Just because you have the ball in your hands doesn't mean you have to play Luka's role. I know Luka has the ball in his hands more because he does more on the court, which does make him better in many ways. But just because you have the ball in your hands more doesn't mean that you have to do Luka's role. Giannis can have the ball in his hands more, but doesn't have to do the playmaking. He can just go get his
casual. That doesn't work because why are you putting the ball in Luka's hands? Why are you putting the ball in his hands?
Because Luka can also score the basketball. And he's also the best scorer on the team.
In addition, right? That's why you're putting the ball in his hands. You're not just putting the ball in his hands just because he's a bucket getter. No, that's not why you're doing it. You're putting the ball in his hands because he does so many other things in addition to scoring the basketball. You're not saying, who do you want the ball in his? I think Luka's the best scorer in the game. I ain't going to argue that. But you're telling me that you want the ball in Luka's hands because you think something good's going to happen, not just with him scoring the basketball, because he's in a different role. Then he's in a different role than Jayson Tatum. But if we're talking about these two guys just scoring the basketball.
So wouldn't that make so that would just make Luka better because he can do more on offense better than Tatum.
Yeah, he's a better offensive player, but I think everyone agrees with that. This also takes out the other side of basketball. Like,
there's also another side of basketball.
This question is taking out the other side of basketball.
I don't like talking
neglecting roles of players in the team.
Yeah,
like Luka being how good he is with the ball in his hands is a testament to him. He's great. Like Magic Johnson.
I was just asking that question on that.
LeBron James.
It was also it was just a yes or no answer.
He's great. He's great at that. But I don't get what the question proves. Like, everyone, I'm assuming 99% of people would rather have Luka Doncic with the ball in their hand than in his hands than Jayson Tatum. Where do we get with that? Like, okay, now what? Like, what did it prove? Which is why I guess I have the problem with the question. We're asking it, but you're asking it. Like, and maybe I'm wrong because the question.
Just because you have the ball in your hands doesn't mean you have to play.
In my viewpoint, the question had no purpose because we all know Luka's better with the ball in his hands. So either the question was for you to prove Luka's better. Or what? Like what other?
I was just asking, who would you rather have the ball in your hands?
Why was you asking that?
I was just asking. Who would you rather have?
It was a hypothetical question.
It was a question.
It was a hypothetical question for the purpose of what?
So casual, we're asking a hypothetical question because I think you asked that question because
if Tatum is Tatum is at Luka's level, then you should trust him to have the ball.
So that's the purpose of your question. To show that Luka's better. I was right. The whole purpose of your question was to show Luka's better.
But you should trust him to have the ball as much as Luka. I'm not saying he has to facilitate like Luka, but you should trust him to have the ball as much as Luka. And if you don't trust him to have the ball,
but that's not your question.
That's not his role, though.
No,
that's not saying he has to play Luka's role. Just because you have the ball more than Luka doesn't mean you have to do what Luka does.
That's like me asking. That's like me asking if I switch roles from Luka to go to the Boston Celtics and play Jayson Tatum's role. It's just like, well, can Luka Doncic play defense? Can Luka Doncic play off ball?
Oh, there's more. Yes, I know there's more to it.
I have a very, and I think this is a valid question.
And this also, basketball is an offensive league. We can't lie.
Who do you trust to guard? Who do you trust to guard? Who do you trust to guard on the ball more?
Yeah, I agree.
Anthony Davis or Herb Jones?
Oh, Herb Jones is a better perimeter defender. But it also depends who they're guarding.
But who's a better defensive player?
Huh?
Who's a better defender?
Anthony Davis better defensive player, like overall. I thought you said perimeter.
Yeah, I did. Who do you trust more to guard one-on-one? Anthony Davis or Herb Jones?
On the perimeter? Well, it depends who they guard.
No,
but
a one-on-one, just one-on-one matchup. Whoever they're guarding, one-on-one matchup.
I'm going to take Anthony Davis because I don't know who's guarding. I'm going to take Anthony Davis because I don't know who's guarding.
Okay. Hypothetically, you're guarding whoever you want to come up with. Whoever you're guarding, who do you trust more? Anthony Davis. So the whole NBA is on the table.
Luka.
The whole NBA is on the table. Who do you trust
is on
to
the
guard?
perimeter. Luka has the basketball.
Sure, Luka. Who do you trust to guard? Herb Jones or Anthony Davis?
The more athletic perimeter defender, Herb Jones.
Okay, but we understand Anthony Davis is a better defender, right?
Yeah.
Because there's more to defense than one-on-one matchups, right?
Yeah.
The same way there's more to basketball than what you do with the ball in your hands, right?
Yes, but offensively, you can do a lot more with the ball in your hands.
Okay, and I agree with that. The whole purpose of that question that I just framed is, you said it literally 2 minutes ago. The reason you asked that question was because you was trying to show that Luka is a better player, which I have no problem with. I agree, Luka's a better player. But the reason I asked that defensive question is because it's neglecting everything else about basketball
I know,
to try and prove that Luka is better, which is why I think it's disingenuous.
Now we're making this. I just asked
because I think you asked a disingenuous question for the sake of you trying to prove Luka's better, which is why I think it's disingenuous.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. I think it was a disingenuous
question. And this is also an offensive league, and games come down to offense. And I just asked a question.
And offense is still more than what you do with the ball in your hands. Once again, I still think it's
but most of what you do in the offense is with the ball in your hands.
Not really. That's maybe if you only pay attention to the ball.
The best players. The best players.
It depends
not necessarily.
That's necessarily
not necessarily. Like just because Luka stands on the hash when he doesn't have the ball, that doesn't mean the other best players aren't doing things. Like Steph Curry sets screens. That's valuable. Steph Curry's running off screens. That's valuable. Kyrie comes off screens. The reason Luka's able to be so great with the ball in his hands is because Kyrie doesn't require it. So there's still ways to be impactful on offense.
I never said there was. Okay,
which is why your question was disingenuous.
I never said that
so
those
much
things
of the
aren't
game.
valuable. I just asked a question. Obviously,
Yeah, but your
the ability
question
move
was to
off
paint the
ball
picture that
isn't
Luka's
valuable.
better.
The ability to
Your
come
whole
off a screen
you said
at the
why
right
you
angle
asked the
to catch the
question.
ball and hit a
You
three.
said you asked the question to prove that you said you asked the question because if Jayson Tatum's as good as Luka, he could do these things. But now you're acknowledging that the game goes beyond so much more than what you do with the ball. So the question is disingenuous because you've taken out about 80% of basketball to say Luka's better than JT.
But
because
you know, I know it. Everyone knows. At the end of the day, star player ball in his hands. Not that off-ball stuff. End of the day, star player ball in his hands. And I just asked, who would you trust with the ball more, Luka or Tatum? And as far as like who would you want to have the ball more in his hands? End of the game. I don't want to know this off-ball stuff. My star player's in the corner? End of the game? No.
Okay,
I want him ball in his hand.
We're just neglecting all the other parts of basketball for the sake of the agenda.
There
That's
is
fine.
more,
Never
but I
mind.
just asked one question. Obviously, we can ask 50 million questions, but it was just one vague, big question.
Yeah,
that was a little
disingenuous
disingenuous.
question.
I'm not saying the other parts of basketball doesn't
all
matter.
about-
Who's
it's
better
all
off ball? Luka's a
the end of
better.
the
Tatum's a better defender.
At the end of the day, it's
Tatum's
what
more
you prefer.
athletic.
At the end of the day, it's just what you prefer. It's just like, what archetype do you prefer? Do you prefer Lucas? Do you prefer Jayson Tatum? That's what Mars is kind of getting after. It's just like, yes, Luka Doncic is better with the ball in his hands. So, of course, I'm going to want Luka Doncic with the ball in his hands because he can score better. He's also a better playmaker. But that doesn't negate the fact that, like, if you put Luka Doncic in Jayson Tatum's role, he's probably going to be less valuable than he is with the Dallas Mavericks right now.
Paul George can play Tatum's role better than Luka. I really don't care.
Yeah,
Paul
that's
George
the point.
can-
That's the point.
Wow.
But that's the point. Like judging someone by an archetype that isn't them.
I-
You said it was disingenuous. So like we went in circles all for us to get to the same
my
point.
question
It was
is
disingenuous.
like, my question wasn't asking Tatum to play Luka's role. I was just saying who has the ball. Just because you have the ball more doesn't mean you have to do what Luka does. But we can move on because
That's kind of the point of why you put the bonus. But never mind.
Nah.
You said it was disingenuous, so it's fine. Like I ended up agreeing. I guess it was disingenuous. Agree to disagree.
Yo, Dumbo.
Yo,
Who would
Pass
you
that.
prefer to have the ball in their hands more, Luka or Jayson Tatum?
you know I will chill.
Thank
Is this
you.
a trick question?
Maybe.
Would I want the ball in the hands of a 1 or do I want the ball in the hands of a 2? Is that what I just heard? A 1. Give me Luka. What are we talking about?
There you go.
Yeah, everyone.
Now,
agreed.
Nobody's
now,
listening.
Ball in the hands of Shaq or Derek Fisher.
now.
If
I'm
Derek
glad we
Fisher.
got. I'm glad we got
Derek Fisher didn't even have the ball in his hands over Kobe
Damo.
Okay.
This
But-
series
because it
ends,
wasn't about point guard. Well,
right.
never mind.
This series ends, and the Celtics win the NBA championship, and Jayson Tatum plays up to snuff, and he's actually doing what Jayson Tatum is supposed to do. He gets busy. They win the series. He's huge in them winning the series, and he ends up winning Finals MVP. Does he prove that he is no longer Robin and he's now Batman? Do you have to come off of that? See, this is what I'm talking about, guys. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Because no, you know why? Because your face crunched up. Your face crunched up because that means that there's no definitive answer here.
No.
There
There
is
is a
none.
definitive answer. Dan,
Please.
can I speak? Can I
Please.
speak? Yeah, but stop
Yes.
crunching up your face. He definitely graduates from Robin. From Robin to Nightwing, man. He's no longer part of Teen Titans.
So he's not
He's his
Wolverine.
own hero.
He's not Wolverine. He's not
Nightwing.
Optimus Prime. He's not none of them. dudes.
No. All just aside. I genuinely would. If Tatum goes out there, he is obviously playing like the best player on the floor the entire series. He is everything we needed him to be and expected him to be on that level. Yes, we can have that conversation of Jayson Tatum. Hey man, he is Batman. Jaylen Brown is Robin. We can have that convo.
All right, fellas. I have another buy or sell question for you guys. We talked about Kyrie. We talked about Luka. We talked a little bit about Tatum, but I want to talk about Tatum and Brown collectively because we do know that these are basically the engine of this team. This team goes as they go, and they tend to flip-flop nights. So I want to ask you guys, how many games in this series will they both score 25 or more together?
2 to 3.
2 to 3?
I think 2 to 3, yeah. 25 plus from both. Well, they did that a couple times in the East Finals, albeit it was against the Pacers defense. But I think these two understand that they melted down, especially Tatum, that 22 Finals. And I think we got a little preview, albeit against Indiana in the Eastern Conference Finals, of a hungrier duo. And I said earlier, the regular season is not a good indicator of a playoff matchup, but we can learn some things. The Mavs played twice against the Celtics, one pre and post deadline. Tatum and Brown both had 25 plus. I think if they need to win this series, I don't need them to be A plus, but there's going to be games where title says Luke and Kyrie most skilled ever. There's going to be games where Tatum and Brown are going to be asked, can you not go band for band, but to get close to matching Luke and Kyrie, and that will require 25 plus from both.
I can only
Once or
X and O you
twice.
for, I can only X and O you for a certain amount of time. At some point, go get me a bucket. That's what it is in a nutshell. At some point, give me the basketball. I'll do it. That's what the greats have done.
I'm
That's what
going
the
once or
greats have done.
twice because in my mind, them winning a championship is going to be predicated on the other guys stepping up on offense. So there are going to be nights where Derek White is damn near at 20 points. Al Horford is in the mid to high teens. Drew Holiday is hitting shots that he's given. And it's going to be an accumulation of just the team playing good basketball and they're winning. So they're not going to need Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum to both have 25. It's going to be like 20 from Brown, 25 maybe from Tatum, but everyone else is scoring as well.
Well,
Porzingis is playing, so he's getting buckets as well too.
Well, I will say, Damo, there was 2 games in these finals where the Celtics had 3 players go for 20-plus points. One night it was Holiday, and one night it was Derek White. In both those games, Tatum and Brown both had 25-plus. So even when they get
And
the
plus
20
those two,
from Holiday,
plus those 2 dudes went for 20. So in addition to Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown going for 25 plus Drew Holiday and Derek White went for 20.
yeah.
You're not beating them dudes when that's going on. You're not. You're not beating. That's 80 from just them 4. You're not beating them dudes. You're not.
Ox, Mars, Ahmad.
What was the question?
It was yeah, multiple games of 25. Yeah, I see it.
For who?
For Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown.
How many games do you see them both getting above 25 and above?
I would say at
Tatum and
least
Brown.
one, but I'll give 2 just for the sake of a number.
For him, for yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think he's going to average 25 plus.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, in this series, and that's not when he'll have a 19 game and then have a 40 game. No. Mm-mm.
I think Jayson Tatum averaged what was it 30, 12, and 5, and then Jaylen Brown was averaging like what 20,
29. I think both of them
29.
averaged 25 plus.
Mhm.
We're pretty close.
Yes. And it's predicated on how Dallas, and I got to give Dallas credit, Ron, because Dallas does, especially in these playoffs, they've been playing a lot better defense. The effort's been there with Irv. The effort's been there with Luka. That's why I feel like that's why they in the position that they're in. I said this already, that I don't think the Dallas Mavericks will ever win an NBA championship if Luka doesn't commit on the defensive end. He's actually done that. I have seen more effort from him on the defensive end. But with that being said, I feel like the Celtics offense, it enables Jayson Tatum. It enables Jaylen Brown, how fast they play, how they crack the long ball. It enables those guys to just get busy whenever and wherever they need to because of how wide open that offense is and how many shots other guys also make.
All right, y'all. Let's take a deeper dive into the Mavericks roster. We did this yesterday with the Celtics, but I want to talk about how we got here with the Mavericks and how this team was constructed. What was their role to building a championship roster? For those that don't know, the Mavericks only technically drafted one player on their roster right now, and that's Josh Green. Yes, they traded for Luka on draft night, so you can include Luka in that too. So I would say those are the 2 players that they drafted. Other than that, everything was constructed on trades. They traded for, obviously, Luka on draft night. They did a trade with Trae Young and a draft pick, which turned out to be Cam Reddish, for Luka Doncic. They also traded for Kyrie, which we do know, to Brooklyn, which I think that they got away with robbery. They traded away Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, a 2027 and a 2029 pick for Kyrie, which once again they got off with that. Traded for Tim Hardaway Jr., but they also made some big trades early this year. And also drafted, it's 2 players because they drafted Derek Lively. Well, no, they traded for Derek Lively too.
I'm about to say, yeah, they traded for Derek Lively.
Yeah.
I just want to check that, yeah.
But that's 3 players that they drafted. So Luka, Josh Green, Derek Lively that they got on draft night. And then they got Daniel Gafford as well earlier this season at the trade deadline for Rashawn Holmes in the 2024 draft pick.
So a bucket of extra crispy in a six-pack. Even though I like Rashawn Holmes.
Yeah, respect Rashawn Holmes.
I do like Rashawn Holmes. Yeah.
Top 3 floaters of big men in NBA history.
I definitely like Rashawn Holmes. I don't know about that, but I do like Rashawn Holmes.
No, it's factual. Top 3 floaters.
I definitely like him. But, I mean, the way that this roster is constructed for Luka's skill set. I mean, Luka is the ball handler. Luka is the playmaker. Luka is the distributor. Luka is the scorer. So you get big guys around the rim that are lob threats. You know, Luka isn't one of these guys that you're going to throw the ball in. Luka is not one of these guys where you give him a 5-man where you throw the ball like Dwight Howard or something like that, where you throw the ball into the post and let him get busy. No, then you put shooters around him. Then you also put athletes around him, like Derrick Jones Jr. You put PJ Washington around him so he can create shots for him. This team is constructed around Luka's skill set. That's why I have such a difficult time when I hear stuff like, if you take Luka off this roster and you put Jayson Tatum on him, well, wait a minute, this team was built for Luka's skill set. This team was built so Luka can enhance these guys in addition to enhancing his skill set. This team isn't built for everybody. So I think they did a good job in building this team around Luka. Not necessarily the idea that you got to go get stars. If you just get guys who complement these other guys, especially if you're getting them on the cheap. I mean, because they got Derrick Jones Jr. on a 1-year deal for $3.5 million. You basically found a Bentley Continental with 22,000 miles on it, and you got it for $10,000. That's crazy that they found him. In addition to PJ Washington, who Damo is a Charlotte guy, knows he was wasting away down there. This is the same PJ Washington who can't put 60 on these dudes, right? So he comes now to the Dallas Mavericks, where he's a long ball shooter. He's a knockdown long ball shooter. And the long ball line looks a lot different when ball's coming from Luka than it does coming from, I don't know, not LaMelo, because he ain't on the floor, but who's the lead guard in Charlotte now? I'm not sure who the lead guard is in Charlotte, but the ball looks a lot different coming from Luka than it does him. So I feel like this unit was built around Luka's skill set. And the fact that Luka has committed on the defensive end, that's why they are where they are right now.
And Chill, that's why you got to tip your hat to the organization. And that's kind of why I was bringing all of this up, because they drafted one player. Everything else, they essentially scouted these guys and said, we want you to come here, and made a move to acquire them, whether it was a draft night move or not. So everybody was basically technically all your players are handpicked, but they basically made a transaction to get them.
And getting really quickly, I'm not going to take over this segment, but really quickly, getting Irv was the difference, because now you got a guy.
Biggest difference.
I don't have to create offense for him. I now have a guy who I can get off the peel and let him get busy. He could also create offense for PJ Washington and Derrick Jones Jr. So getting Irv was a big deal.
You guys all agreed that was the biggest move?
And Kyrie?
Yeah.
I guess the biggest move was trading the pick to get Luka.
To be honest, but I would say
the biggest move was the role players, in my opinion.
Yeah,
because the whole Kyrie thing was a disaster in 23. Part of that's because they didn't play enough together. I mean, it was like your turn, my turn. They still do that today, but they have chemistry with the you turn, my turn thing. They know when it's each other's turn. It was forced in 23. They didn't know how to go off each other. But they didn't have role players. They didn't have, like what Chill said, the size, the strength, the defenders around Luka and Kyrie. And they were one of the worst defenses in the league. And that hurt them. They didn't have many shooters. And I said on a podcast after the end of the season, if they build that lineup of 3, 4, and 5, defense, size, length, Kyrie and Luka can work, because if they get time to play with each other, it's the best offensive duo in the league probably. They just need defenders and shooters around them. And people in my comments were saying they don't have enough time to do it. Like, think about Cleveland with the Mitchell and Garland thing. And they got 3, 4, and 5 with size, defense, shooters. But that took years for them to make, and lottery picks of like top 5 picks. And they did that in 9 months.
Mars, why do you hate that backcourt? Mars, why do you hate that backcourt, Mars? Why? Garland and Mitchell. Why do you hate it? I never understood why you hated it.
They're too small.
It's a Garland issue, but
they're too small. That's the problem. They're both 6'1". You can't have 2 small guards in the playoffs anymore. Teams just hunt that. Like, it is what it is. Back in the day when there was less mismatch hunting, maybe. Now you can barely get away with one of them. And even when the one is a good defender, they're still too small. Now you got two below average defenders, and they're small. Like you can't hide that. You can't protect that. You can't protect that.
No, that's pretty much all I had to say.
They
had like 9 months to get all that together, from the start of free agency and the draft to the deadline. That's insane. Who builds a championship roster around two guys in like 9 months?
Yeah,
ace the draft,
crazy.
ace free agency, ace the deadline. When have we ever seen that before? Ever?
I think y'all are missing a big reason why this like engine is really going with Dallas. I mean, we can talk about the additions they made all day, but the biggest addition actually came from subtraction. They're not playing Tim Hardaway Jr. like that. I think
Get Hardaway off the floor. Get Hardaway off the floor. He's killing us.
Tim Hardaway Jr. is not playing. That's really the biggest factor.
Get Hardaway.
In my opinion, man, these guys look great.
Damo, when you said subtraction, though, my mind, and you're 100% right with that. My mind went to another subtraction, which it was a double addition, because it was an addition by getting PJ Washington, but it was also an addition by subtraction by getting
Dwight Powell off the court.
No, Dwight Powell too, but getting Grant as far away from Dallas as possible.
That too.
So they had guys. If I want to make sure I'm understanding you guys correctly. So they had guys in the lineup, Hardaway, Powell, that should not have been on the floor. Get these guys out the lineup. Right, get these guys out the lineup and replace them with different guys. We cooking with gas now.
Mm-hmm. Notice one player that did play in the series against Minnesota. When one guy started, well, no, I don't even think Dwight Powell started. Did Dwight Powell start? Dwight Powell didn't start.
No, he didn't. But he did play.
As soon as he played, I knew it was over that game.
He played like
that
2
game
minutes.
Hey, 2 minutes, too many. He
Well, Lively got hurt.
I'd rather had Josh Green playing the five. If I'm being honest, like it's crazy.
Is Maxey good for the series?
Maxey is good in sections in certain matchups and everything because of the defense. Maxey's defense will allow him to be on the court, but he shouldn't play. In my opinion,
I mean, like health wise, because I like Maxey.
I want to say his health is fine. Yeah, I think his health is good.
Yeah, he had that shoulder thing. He's like separated his shoulder.
Yeah.
I mean, it does affect how he
like
shoots
Maxey.
threes. He should be good.
I'm looking up the Dallas opening day roster, and I want to see who they started the season with. So let's go. All right, first game of the season against the Spurs. This is October 25th. This was their starting lineup. It looks like it was Grant Williams, Kyrie, Luka, Derek Lively, and Tim Hardaway Jr.
Yeah.
So take Hardaway out the lineup.
Derek Jones in.
Put Derek Jones in the lineup. Take Lively out the lineup. Put Gafford in, because Lively now comes off the bench for Gafford.
Swap PJ for Grant.
And swap PJ for Grant. So three new additions to the lineup, who all do what you guys. I mean, I think they do things a little bit different. I mean, Tim Hardaway has one of the. I'm not on the fence about this. Tim Hardaway has one of the easiest jobs in the NBA. I'll never get off that. When you playing with a dude like Luka, when you playing with a dude like James, when you playing with a dude like James Harden, when you playing with dudes like that, my job, make open shots. That's all I got to do. I don't have to do any. I don't have to be a lockdown defender. I don't have to be a distributor. That's his job. All I got to do is make open shots. That's it.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to him, because coming into the season and part of the regular season, he was supposed to be their third best player, like their third scorer before they had PJ Washington. Hardaway. He was supposed.
That's why they had no aspirations before the trades.
Yeah, he was supposed to be their third best player. I don't know that.
It's better coming off the bench for the rest of his career.
Hardaway a rotation guy, and that's fine that he's a rotation guy.
He was like a 6-man
But
candidate.
he's a rotation guy, and I won't argue that.
He like a 12th man.
Now, with that being said, you still got to do your job. I think Jason Kidd is going to play him in this series. I'm not.
Oh, they're playing him.
Oh my God!
Boston in four. Boston in four. Boston in 4.
They're looking for hope if they play at him.
I do think Jason Kidd is going to go to him, though. I'm sorry, Damo.
I've been saying this for a minute now. I've been wondering what is it about Tim Hardaway is just like I'm not getting, because for the longest I just haven't been like, he's been cool. Like when he was younger, I was high on him, and as his career went on, I'm like, it's just something about him. I just can't put my finger on it. And I finally had a revelation like probably a month ago. He is J.R. Smith without Hennessy, and that's the issue. He's J.R. Smith with the shirt on. Like he's I don't know how it's possible. And now, no disrespect, J.R. J.R. is he's J.R. Smith.
I think J.R.
with
Smith
no
is much better
Hennessy
than
in a
Hardaway.
shirt.
He was
There you
much
go.
better.
I think
And
J.R.
there we
Smith
go.
was much better than
He's
him.
lesser James Harden. I mean, not
No
James
way.
Harden. J.R. Smith. He's lesser J.R. Smith.
JR was defending too.
Yes, he was.
And that's the issue. He's not even J.R. He can't even fulfill that. And that's why he's where he's at right now.
Instead of like 3 and D, he's like a 1.5 and nothing. Like that's really what he is. So
Make open shots.
you
That's all I'm
don't
asking.
play that. Yeah, you don't play that.
And playing with a guy like Luka, I mean, don't get me wrong. Luka does get off the basketball, and there's times when he holds onto the ball a little bit much for me. But Luka's going to get you open shots. That's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
Playing with Luka, you're going to get open shots with him, and you're going to get good shots. Yeah, he might throw you a couple of grenades, but you're going to get good shots.
Win or lose this series for the Dallas Mavericks, what do you guys think is the next step for like the next player they should go after the Dallas Mavericks, even if they win the championship or lose the championship? I think another win is fair.
It depends on what guys they can bring back or not. Like what guys do they keep if they keep their core together? Because is Derrick Jones on a multi-year deal or is this a 1-year deal?
This
This is
one,
1 year.
but
This
he,
is
1
I
year.
think he said he wants to be back. I think he said.
Hey, we've heard other guys say they want to be
Yeah,
back.
yeah. So
Yeah,
it depends.
so it's on them. Is Gafford under contract for next year and going
If
forward?
somebody comes along
Yeah,
now
yeah.
and tell Derrick Jones that we got 4 years at $60 million. I don't think he's saying no to that.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't.
So I mean, teams
God
will
bless-
poach these
God
guys.
bless whatever franchise that does that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think
So
anybody's
really-
doing that.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Shit.
Shit, they need to go throw some money at Malik Monk. Get some scoring off that bench.
I heard the Pistons are. I heard the Pistons
OKC
are real high
probably
on
should
Malik
put
Monk.
money at him.
I
Man,
think what
don't-
they need
come
is
on, Damo.
I'm serious. Ox, I'm dead
The
serious.
Pistons are trying to compete, man. The Pistons are trying to compete.
They dead serious about throwing him a bag, man. Just saying.
Man,
I think
Hey,
what
they-
Dallas needs. I think
They
what
heard
Dallas
what
needs is
everybody
somebody
was
bench.
saying about Malik Monk being better than who was that?
Donovan Mitchell.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
they just,
Donovan
they
Mitchell.
just trying to get
Brandon
Donovan
Bell,
Mitchell
I
for
think
the
that was.
low. You know, shout out to
whatever the Pistons offer Malik Monk, we need to go ahead and match that just so that we can save his
How are the
career.
Pistons being Malik Monk? That's just nasty.
Why shouldn't so the Pistons aren't good enough to want to get free agents? Is that what we're saying now?
No, but that's just nasty. I wouldn't go
Exactly,
that.
Mark.
Get Malik Monk, they'll have to pay a lot. It's just that's not moving anything, bro.
They got the money to do it, and they're
Yeah,
acting
they
like-
have
yeah,
they
yeah,
have the
yeah.
salary. They have the
Lock him
salary.
up for 4 years when you're trying to rebuild. Malik Monk, let's go.
They're not trying to rebuild. They're trying to
they're not-
compete.
Thank you.
Yeah,
They're
well,
not trying to rebuild. They rebuilt.
look in the
They
mirror.
got the talent.
They've
Look
got
at the
Cade,
mirror.
they've got
You're
Asar, they've got
signing
another
Damo.
top 5 pick.
If I could climb through this screen onto you right now, I swear to God I would. Because I bought that Detroit logic from you last year. And y'all dudes really trying to sit here and tell me that a team that lost 30 straight games is trying to compete.
28.
I'm sorry. Almost
And Malik
they were on their
and
way to
Malik
losing
Monk in a
40.
draft pick erases
Are
that.
you kidding
Okay.
me?
And chill
I'm
chill
sick
time.
of
And
you,
you know what they
Damo.
was missing? You know what they was missing?
Oh my
You know what they was missing? They was missing
Malik Monk.
proven NBA vets. They was missing them older guys.
Well,
to
hold on
really
real
hold
quick,
it
real
down. It
quick,
was a bunch
Damo.
of young guys trying to do it. They ain't know what
They
they
were
was
missing
doing.
a top
I
5
don't-
Second,
half-court
Damo.
playmaker. They were missing a top 5
like-
half-court playmaker.
I'm not digging Casual's attitude towards Malik Monk. I'm not really feeling your vibe.
I think
bruh.
Malik Monk's solid. I think he's six man. He should have won 6 man of the year. But if you're Detroit,
Ox, he ain't turning them around, Ox.
You think
Stop.
Malik
Why
Monk
not?
in
Why
a
not?
He ain't
19-year-old
turning them
Who they
around.
gonna get then?
turn
They
your-
could,
Who
they,
they
could,
gonna
they,
get,
could
right?
win, they could win 15 more games this season with Malik Monk.
I don't
Malik
think
Monk?
29
believe that.
wins. That's
Not
29
just based on Malik Monk,
You
but
should
everybody else getting better too.
But Malik Monk-
the young
I'm not doing
fella
it.
staying
But-
healthy,
Ox,
and you get
nah.
Malik Monk.
Nope.
But
Malik
I don't.
Monk is
Nope.
for buyers.
I don't want
Malik
him in-
Monk
I don't
is
want him
for
in Detroit.
buyers.
No
The Pistons
No.
aren't a buyer.
I
They
hear what you're
shouldn't be a
saying.
buyer.
Who should they
Malik,
go
Malik
get,
needs to
Casual?
go somewhere
Who
like
should they be
No.
going to
They're meant
Orlando.
to get no one. They're meant
No
to get no
one.
one.
So maybe
See,
expiring
so
guys.
just-
See,
so just-
expiring
just
guys.
do
Don't put
nothing
Malik
during
Monk on a
free
4-year big.
Damo, they
Yes,
need
yes,
to be
yes.
they
That's
need to be
serious.
looking. They need to be looking at signing me and Mars.
So they
They
should
not
be
they
saying
not
that.
do- they not
They should
doing
get a
nothing.
guy like Bobo.
They not doing
They
nothing
should
in
sign
Detroit,
Bobo
you know
like
what I'm
that. They should
saying?
just sign someone no one wants.
Or you just
Right.
take chances on a bunch of young, unproven free agents and then
Or
hopefully
get
turn out
Malik
to-
Monk. What?
Then what does
are you
Malik
talking
Monk
about?
do? You're going to sign him for 4
Score
years,
the basketball.
$30 million
Put
a
the
year.
basketball
You're
in
going to be
the
the
basket.
bottom 3
And
team in
be
the
a top
conference.
5
You're
half-court
going
playmaker.
nowhere. You just
Well, that's
pay
true,
hundreds
Marv.
of millions of dollars for a 6th man of the year. You
Damo,
think a
let's
6th
not-
man of
let's
the
not
year
put that into
when
the
you're
air,
the
though,
worst
Damo.
team in the National Basketball Association is going to turn your
Let me ask
franchise
you-
upside
no.
down with a
Obviously-
19-year-old?
You could.
First of all, you're thinking way too big. Thinking that them signing Malik Monk is this is who is going to turn us around signing is asinine, in my opinion. That is another piece into helping the bigger wheel and the bigger machine go forward. You have your star player in Cade Cunningham that they believe in. That is their guy. You put guys around him that makes his job easier. Tell me right now, does Malik Monk on the Pistons not score the basketball?
He does.
100%. Yeah.
I mean, he'll score.
Is Malik Monk scoring the basketball on the Pistons not something that will help the Pistons?
Help in what way, though? What way?
Help them be better. If they add another
Okay, but how much
score,
better?
does
How
that
that's
not
my
help?
thing is how much better. I'm not saying he's
Getting
going to
better is
make it
getting
worse.
better. Getting
How
better
much
is
better?
getting better.
How
Getting
much
better is
But
getting better.
Rome wasn't built in a day, is the old adage.
My thing is like, you're going to
So,
sign
like,
Malik Monk. You're
so
gonna be in
why
the
are we
same
trying to
place.
rush the process?
You
Cade
sign
is
Malik Monk, you're going to be in
22.
the same place that you were
Facts,
last
facts.
year, just that you're
That is
minus
not true.
30
No, they are
That
not
is
going to
not
be.
true.
They are not going to be in 28 straight losing streak hell or 14.
Oh,
wins
sorry.
in the season.
10,
They're not gonna be there.
15 game losing streak. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
They
so
went on
is
a
progress, not
28-game
progress?
losing streak because all of their vets were injured.
And
They
then
had
Malik
no
Monk
vets.
makes it a
They were
15-game
playing
losing
young
streak.
guys,
Okay, guys.
and their coach wasn't even playing the
That's
right young guys.
50% improvement.
15. Oh, that's what we're going for. I'm not a believer.
Are we not
in
trying to-
I'm not a
Everybody should be
believer in
going for
buying when you're
50%
not
Yeah, are
buying.
we not trying to
Those are
improve?
I'm
great
saying
numbers.
that's
Those
crazy.
are
All right, hold on, right quick,
Apparently
right quick.
improvement is
I
irrelevant
believe you
if
should
you aren't
buy
winning.
if you're not. If you're not a
Improvement
buyer,
is
you
irrelevant
shouldn't
if
buy.
you aren't winning championships. I guess.
Casual. I have to ask you. So don't sign Malik Monk. They hand over the GM contract to you, and you are now the GM going into the offseason.
The Pistons.
What are you doing?
He trading Cade because he shouldn't be on a
He's
bad
going
team.
to he's
No,
going to
you gotta-
sign
you gotta rock with
Bowl
Cade.
and say, "Hey man, we just going to be
If you
trash
trade,
anyway.
if you trade
Watch out to be
Cade
better."
Cunningham, you might as well relocate your franchise. If you trade Cade Cunningham, you might as well just relocate.
Let me
your
go sign Kai Jones, a young guy unproven, because hey, we're not trying to win. Let's sign Kai Jones. Why not?
But why
that's-
would you
that's
try to
his
win?
plan.
Why would you put all your efforts into winning games?
What's the point of being a business? It's still a business. That's-
Wait, are
that's
you?
a
Wait, so
basketball
are you?
team.
Are you?
They
Wait,
are
are
a
you?
business.
Yeah. Are you of the belief that if you have no chance of a championship, you should just tank?
Not tank, but I would I guess if you consider it tanking, I would just play all the young guys. And if they don't work, then I just wouldn't buy.
What?
Because if you
That's
well, I guess
tanking.
you have to. I guess in the NBA logic, you have to spend a certain amount of money regardless in free agency.
You
I
got
don't
to
know how
spend
much.
80% of your cap. You gotta
Yeah,
spend
I get.
80%.
But if you sign Malik Monk, then you're also gonna have to sign a bunch of other guys.
Yo, can we stop saying that? We don't want Malik in Detroit. I hope Malik ends up in Orlando.
So the Wizards,
I actually hope he stays in
the
Sacramento.
Hornets.
That's
So
what.
Yeah,
casual-
that of
So
course.
casual, in your opinion, the Wizards, the Hornets, the Pistons, the Spurs, they just don't need to do anything. They just need to go to
Wizards
free
suck.
agency, take
Well, the
scraps.
Wizards
Just take
suck.
scraps
Well,
and-
then the
Yeah,
well,
so the
didn't the
Wizards
Wizards do
shouldn't
that?
try
They
and get
suck.
better.
Well, didn't
They
the
shouldn't
Wizards?
try
Well,
and get
didn't
better.
the Wizards do that? Didn't the Wizards do that with Poole and Kuzma? And look where they're at. They suck. They suck.
So they shouldn't try.
And
So they
it's
shouldn't
right
try.
where
They
they are.
shouldn't try.
They
and-
suck.
So
So they
again, they
shouldn't.
shouldn't try.
So they shouldn't try and
They can
stop.
try it.
keep
They
sucking.
can
Oh.
try it, man. They can suck
Yeah,
with
focus
60
down.
million. You can go ahead and try it. You're going to still be terrible.
No.
Go ahead
If
and
you were
try
the GM, you would look at this team and be like, "Well, we sucked the year before. We sucked last year. Let's just keep on being bad. Let's just keep on sucking." Pause. Like, that's just what we're gonna do. That is your way of being a GM.
I just wouldn't
We
sign a
just gonna keep
six-man.
being trash.
Outrageous, Damo.
I just wouldn't sign a 6-man.
Yeah, man. The
So you-
Rockets shouldn't have signed James Harden, man. What waste?
You
They won
would be
30
trying to-
games and they're trying to go get James Harden. Waste of time. Why'd they do that? Silly.
If Nas Reed is available, teams that are trying to get better shouldn't sign him because he's a
James
6
Harden was also
I hear
younger
it.
than Malik
I
Monk,
hear it.
too.
I
James
get
Harden
it.
was not a
Nas
veteran
Reed
when
wouldn't
he did
work
that.
on any of these young teams trying to get better. Because
James
he's a
Harden was like in
6'9".
year 4.
Why
when they
try to
signed
get
him.
him?
by the way.
Malik Monk's in what, year 7? Right? Year 7?
Yeah, like year 7.
Mhm.
And he doesn't have the potential, I don't think, Malik Monk.
Nobody thought James Harden had.
Yeah,
that.
no one knew James. No one was saying
No,
James
Oh,
Harden.
James Harden was at least in year 3 or 4 as a 6-man.
Until-
We've
until he
seen Malik
showed
Monk
it.
in Charlotte. We've
Nobody.
seen Malik Monk.
Yeah,
if
we've
you could sit
seen Malik Monk be one of the 5 best half-court playmakers.
There's no way you sitting there saying that James
Actually-
Harden was 35 a game. No way.
No,
You saw
I'm just
that.
saying, but like at least he was like, okay, you have potential, whatever. Let's sign. We saw flashes. You were a 6-man your whole career,
Let me tell you
and
something.
you're like
Nobody,
23.
nobody saw Jalen Brunson being what Jalen Brunson is right now.
My goodness. Oh well, I thought
I
the
didn't.
Brunson move wasn't the best,
Rem-
but that was my
Remove
mistake.
Brunson. So what did you feel about the Rockets moves
Well,
they made last
The
offseason?
Knicks were the playoff team a year
Yeah,
before.
should the
no,
Rockets?
no, no.
Wait, good question. Should we have not got Fred
What-
VanVleet and
yeah.
Dylan Brooks?
What was your take on the Rockets getting VanVleet and Dylan Brooks, signing them? What was your take?
Well, because we knew the Rockets were really on the up.
what?
22 win? No, you did not. You did not watch us and think, oh yeah, there's progress.
We
You
can
did
move
not
on. We can
watch
move on.
us
We can
win
move on. 'Cause we're
22
lying.
games
Now we're
and
lying.
say, oh
Now
yeah,
we're
we knew
lying.
they were going to
All right.
figure it out.
Casual.
No, you
Houston was
didn't.
garbage. They were terrible.
We were the worst team in the league.
was
Not
terrible.
that, but we knew they had potential. I don't
Was it
think
we
Detroit has
yet,
potential.
Mars?
Who is?
Was
So
I was
we
all
yet?
summer on my
So
podcast
Detroit
saying
have
this
Cade
Houston
and
team has
Asar and
potential.
Jalen
That
Brown
was
and
year-
the
I
number
think that
nine
was
on
the year
my
before.
They
They
have
have
great young players.
Detroit.
I was watching us in silence.
Jalen Green.
When-
I was
when-
all
when
summer
Mar-
saying this team has potential. They can make some free agents and be a playing team. I don't
Detroit
think
Pistons.
think
Yeah.
Detroit has that potential. That's why
No,
I'm
back
talking about
up.
Detroit.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you.
When-
The
when Mar-
2023
when
Rockets
Mars-
are worse than the Pistons were last year. So
When
I
Mars-
don't know what to tell you other than that. We were worse than the Pistons
bruh.
were last year. So
When Mars came to us, we did this over the last summer when Mars said that he saw them at a 35 win clip. I was thinking, I got to get off this show because I don't think this dude know anything about
yeah,
that.
I said 35 wins and I'll be
I
happy.
said that during
And
the
everyone was
summer.
like,
I thought that
35
Mars
wins
was
a
on.
stretch.
I for real thought that I was around. I thought that I was around somebody that was on drugs. I was like,
I
"There's no
said
way."
40.
Picks for
I said
Harden.
both teams were getting
Tony
40
said
wins.
40,
The Pistons and the
and I was
Rockets.
like, even
I
I
thought he was
wouldn't
on
go that
drugs.
far.
I thought he
No
was on
one
drugs. I
saw
was like, "There's
Houston,
no
other
way."
than Domin. No
Somebody
one saw
was on
Houston
drugs.
Thank you.
doing this.
That's
I
bad.
said 35, and I was looked at as optimistic.
And saying
So I said, like, you just saw the potential. No one believed in us.
Saying the Detroit Pistons don't have potential. I mean, Jalen Duren he's pretty great. Cade Cunningham, then you got Jaden Ivey. Like, you need some vets, like Damo was saying. So if you were going out,
Killian Hayes off the roster. We ain't got to worry about playing.
Oh
him.
yeah, Killian Hayes is gone. Yeah.
exactly. So
Yeah, we
like
gotta worry about playing
they have a core right there with those three guys. So
And Deshaun Thompson.
and it's exactly. So
Okay, then who are you bringing along?
And the 5 pick this year, and the number 5 pick.
Hold on,
this
what?
year.
Saucer, you know.
Because you also have to bring people alongside Malik Monk. You can't just bring Malik Monk.
That's absolutely fine. No one said pay Malik Monk a supermax, and that's all.
I didn't say
you do.
Supermax, but,
But
you're gonna have to overpay.
you
for Malik
genuinely you would sign Malik Monk would be an addition.
No.
You would sign other guys that would be great
I
additions
don't know
that
who
are
the
older
free
players.
agents. Who are the free? I don't know who the free agents.
Kelly Oubre. I feel like Kelly Oubre will be a good signing for them as well. Kelly Oubre is a guy that's going to be
Kelly
available.
Oubre would be
They can try to give him a bag. Not give him a bag, but get him away
Give
from
him
Philly.
like a nice
They-
12 to 15.
The
something.
Pistons are high on Nick Claxton. They want to get Nick Claxton. Now, what are you going to do with all
Yeah.
these bigs?
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. But that's what they said they're trying to do. That was the reports for them, that they're highly in to Nick
And
Claxton.
Malik Monk is better than them trying to get the Tobias Harris reunion. Like,
Facts.
Malik Monk is a good player. And
Get
worst
them
comes to worst, a contender gives you a first round pick for him. Worst comes to worst. If it's that bad, a contender's gonna want Malik Monk. They give you picks, you're in a better position anyway. There's no negative to spending salary cap you have to spend to get a very good player. Either he helps your team get better, or a contender's gonna go and try and get him from you for picks.
Ox, what's the
Minimum.
max
Miles
y'all can
Bridges
pay him in
homecoming.
Sacramento?
I'm sorry.
What's the
Miles
max
Bridges
y'all can?
homecoming.
What's the max y'all can pay him in Sacramento?
I don't know, man. I don't know, Chill.
20 million, 25.
It's probably like I want max. They could probably give him like anywhere up to like 30.
That's
probably.
crazy. That's a lot.
Nah, I don't
So
think the
who y'all
Pistons are
paying right
offering
now?
5 years, 125 or something.
I think he's doing like 12. I'm
I'm about to say, because y'all paying, like, in terms of max money, it'll be Sabonis and De'Aaron right now. Other than that,
Sabonis just got his, and
y'all paying
De'Aaron.
anybody crazy?
Harrison should be coming off the books.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody.
All right, y'all. Well, shout out to Pistons. They got mentioned 2 episodes in a row in the month of June. I know James B will be ecstatic for the rest of the summer. You're welcome.
He don't even watch the Pistons games.
Yeah, I watch more Pistons games than James B.
James B don't even watch the games. He a fake
He don't
fan.
watch the Pistons game because he don't got cable or internet. Well, he gotta have internet to watch.
Yeah, he don't even have clean
I
water.
don't
Like,
know.
there's
It's
priorities.
something along
Yeah,
that.
like, there's priorities. So like, I understand the James B.
Oh, that's insane, Mars.
I'll watch him for you.
James B, me personally, I wouldn't let them get
He don't got no choice. What are you gonna do?
Right. James B, by the way, tell her I said what's up. But anyway,
Tell her I
moving
said
along.
come get her stuff.
All right, James B. Personally, I ain't gonna lie. Personally.
All right, we got super chats. And speaking of free agency, right after these super chats, I want to talk about the Sixers off-season plans. And not what's up, James B. Tell her
The
I said
Sixers?
hey.
Did you say the Sixers?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they got some all-season plans that that are apparently out there. So we'll talk about that. But before we do that,
they shouldn't even
I expected more from you, Ron, and you too,
What?
Ox. You ready to talk about the Sixers offseason before y'all give a mention of WNBA basketball this season?
I've been streaming WNBA games live. You know what I'm saying?
Open gym doing more for the WNBA
And
than the panel.
what homegirl say on
I'm doing-
ESPN?
I'm
What she
doing
say
my
on the
side.
first take the other day? Y'all could have been doing that a while ago on here on this platform. Y'all could have been doing that on this
Damo,
platform.
I don't want to hear none of that because I've been trying to push the WNBA line way before all this Caitlin Clark shit started.
I ain't hear
I was
say
getting
anything
talk- I was
about
getting
women's
talked about
basketball
bad.
until Caitlin Clark. I didn't hear Ox say nothing.
Come on,
about
stop.
that.
But
Crazy.
what?
Not one word. All I heard from the moment Caitlin Clark got media attention, all of a sudden Ox know about women's basketball. I don't know how that happened, but I guess shout out to you.
after what Kennedy
That's
Kennedy
crazy.
Carter said,
Yo, hold on, bro. Send him to hell. Get him up out of here. No way.
Hey, I'm just saying.
No
I'm just
way.
saying. Coincidental.
That's
what we'll call it.
fire. That's fire.
Damn, aren't you a culture vulture?
Yep.
All right, well, I got a super chat from LaFlame. LaFlame said Jaylen Brown is better than Kyrie. The convo shouldn't even be entertained.
Troll alert. Troll alert.
Isaiah,
Woo, 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 woo. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it, yo. It's troll. Troll alert. Troll alert. Don't do that.
Ron, they said I was pandering to women. They said nobody wants to hear this. I shut up. I'm talking about mad super chats. Here, take this $25 super chat so we can change the subject because nobody wants to hear about Ox talk about women's sports. Y'all crazy, bro. Y'all crazy. And
That only happens when Caitlin Clark was popping, man.
I've been streaming the games too.
Super chat from Exclusive Excellence said, y'all acting like the Celtics didn't just have three games finished within 5 against the fucking Pacers. They not that nice for real, acting like it's 100% C's win.
Because they ain't blowing up.
No one said that.
Because they ain't blowing teams out. Give me a break.
And the Pacers are a different. The Pacers are a different matchup than Dallas. Like,
Way different.
Just because you quote unquote struggled with the Pacers doesn't mean you're going to struggle with the Mav. Yeah, like Houston struggled with the Rockets more than the Cavs, but I've heard people say the Cavs would beat the Rockets. Now I disagree, but that's what I mean. The Warriors in 2018 struggled with the Rockets and not the Cavs. But I've heard people say the Cavs will beat the Rockets. Once again, I disagree. But the playoffs is about matchups. The Pacers play with a different level of pace, different intensity, multiple guys who can attack compared to the Mavs, where it's a bit more stationary, two-pronged attack. It's just a different team. So like, I don't know why it doesn't make any sense. But well,
The Wolves blew out the Nuggets multiple times and couldn't close Dallas. So basketball's a game of matchups.
bingo.
Alan L said, go into the game tomorrow for my 21st. Let's go Celtics and Mavs. L Ox, L Dub, and Ox is garbage. Damn,
you
he
making
said
that
Ox
say Ox is crazy.
Ox is garbage. Damn, he didn't have to get at you twice on there.
Mars? Yes or
Yes.
no, sir?
Yeah. You see the video he made about you, Chuck?
No, I didn't.
I
I
he was,
don't.
You haven't come into that yet, Chill?
No.
he was allegedly cooking you. He was the original disingenuous question answer. The stupid list that Ron read out about Jason Kidd and Allen Iverson versus Jayson Tatum, that was all a setup for Dub's video on you that I haven't watched, but I've seen.
He sent me something that says I'm done when I'm good.
Yeah, he said I think I've seen like the first like 2 minutes or something. He said like he sent you the link hoping you'd pull up, but he was basically saying that you're a hypocrite. I think.
Mars, did you like the video?
No,
I
I seen it. Someone sent it in the Telegram group.
Mars?
Oh, I'm not subscribed. I think Alan sent it in the Telegram group, so I seen it. I was like, interesting. And then I watched a little bit of it, and then I seen it was like the little segment that Ron forced upon us. And then he said something like, if Jayson Tatum's not better than Jason Kidd, but you think he's on the level of Luka, you think Luka's not better than Jason Kidd. Hypocrite. Something like that. Like it was something like that. So I was like, oh, okay, great video, high quality. Yeah. Shout to
Wait, what? If I don't think Jason Tatum is better than Jason Kidd, but I think he's on the level of Luka, then I think Jason Kidd is better than Luka.
What?
Yeah,
Chill, you just got to go back and watch the video. and watch.
Yeah.
I think it was about 21 minutes of Dub just straight cooking for 21 straight minutes, just chefing up, cooking the whole time.
Yeah,
Chill, check it out. If you do feel the need to respond, please come back tomorrow. And
chill. We need the response video. That's what we need. We need the response.
Video. Listen, we don't need a response video. I'm right here. I ain't hard to find.
No, because that means you're inviting him up here and I'm up here. Don't you?
I'm not hard to
find.
On
your channel.
No, I'm not.
Invite him on your channel. I'm subscribed to Showtime Hoops. Good channel.
Thank you.
Jamal gifted a Player's Choice membership, and also subscribe to Chilltown Hoops if you haven't. That's you're gonna find some good stuff over there. Make sure you do that. But Jamal gifted one Player's Choice membership, so I want to shout out the person that got that, and I also want to shout out Jamal for that kind gesture. Appreciate you, Jamal. Prada Fiend became a member as well today, and Dean Samuel sent a 99-cent sticker, super chat, whatever it may be. But appreciate you though, Dean. Thanks for sending that through. Music by P with another super chat and said, can the Mavs beat Boston's high-powered offense with Luka shooting inefficiently like the previous two series?
Yes. If his team
shot talking, yeah.
I mean, if PJ Washington shoots 50% from 3. If Derek Jones,
that's something extraordinary though, Mars. I think that we asking, PJ. If we asking PJ what
7.3 point game.
What did PJ shoot against OKC?
I think he shot something in the.
He hasn't come close to that in a long time.
But even if
PJ Washington shoots 47% from 3 again,
right? But it wasn't like Luka
being inefficient.
But if Luka's inefficient, I mean, what are we talking about when we say he's inefficient? Because it wasn't like Luka was doing nothing. Is it just him being inefficient?
Yeah, is inefficient.
Is that it?
Yeah.
I
Luka does other things. He doesn't need to score efficiently for Dallas to win. It's not all about Luka. Doesn't need to, he needs to play well, obviously, but he doesn't need to score efficiently or whatever the case. Because if he's not scoring efficiently, the likelihood is they're sending a lot at him, which means that he's gonna create open shots for people. If they make the open shots, Luka can be relatively inefficient and they can win, which is why it's a team game at the end of the day. It's not all about what Luka does.
He also was kind of hurt too in those inefficient series. He's probably talking about OKC.
I think this time off definitely gives.
And then he had Lou Dort guarding him.
He said he doesn't feel any better. That was his words, not mine. He said the time off hasn't really changed anything.
Oh, okay. Well,
but maybe he's lying. Who knows? I don't know. I've heard that players say stuff and they just lie, so we shouldn't listen to them. So.
I thought this might have changed some things because he had some time off to get healed up. Said he doesn't feel any different. So all right, we'll get back to it.
We say that and he comes on and drops 64 in game 1. I'm like, oh, okay, cap
64.
Yeah, just to beat MJ's record because we don't want MJ holding that record no more.
Chronic with the super chat. He said, chill, please, man. You a LeBron stan, saying him having a better team doesn't matter is wild. So Steph is better all time than LeBron then? That's wild.
I didn't say that I didn't say having a better team didn't matter. No. I said what the narrative is going to be. He had a better team. That's what it was going to be.
Yeah.
I didn't say that. So don't paraphrase me or put words in my mouth. No, I didn't say that. I said that's what the logic is going to be if he gets busy. Well, he had a better team. I didn't say that. No.
Does he have a better team?
Yes. Does Jayson Tatum have a better team? I do think overall they do have a better team than the Dallas Mavericks.
Well, having a better team isn't going to matter if they are poor in the finals. It all depends who's supporting cast is better at the end of the day.
We've seen better teams lose. We've seen that.
Yeah.
So.
Dame the Great said, I don't know who's worse at seeing potential, Casual or Kuzma. Laughing my ass off.
What?
What did Kuzma say?
I think it was Kuzma when he was supposed to go to the Mavericks?
Oh, yeah. And he turned it down. Yeah, he did.
He did see a championship team or something with him.
Yeah, he did.
He believes in the Washington process. He believes in it.
He did not want to play with Luka Doncic. I don't blame him.
See, here you go. Here you go, acting like what's his name?
It's a hard play style to play with.
Oh my god.
I mean, all I'm saying is, Kuz want to have the ball too.
Chandler Parsons. There it is. And like Chandler Parsons.
Cool. I'm just saying, Kuz want to have the ball. He don't want to watch Luka dribble. Like he already got it. You got to remember.
Players are always hard to play with.
You got to remember that he already got a ring, so he like. I could just go make some money and shoot shots.
The ball dominant ones tend to be harder to play with. But the best players aren't always hard to play.
Well,
I mean, we don't know what it's like to play with any of them.
Ball dominant unless you're like Steph, who can move
Tim
off
Duncan.
the ball. Tim Duncan. Yeah, well, yeah.
I wonder though,
Jordan, Kobe, LeBron.
Actually, I'm not gonna lie. The more you go through the typical top 10, the only ball dominant ones are really LeBron and Magic Johnson.
I would ask though, if Kuzma did say F it and he went to Dallas, I wonder what big they would have went instead of Gafford, because I don't think they would have. I don't think
They wouldn't get Gafford. Nope.
Yeah, they wouldn't get Gafford if they got Kuzma, depending on what the trade was. So I wonder what
Andre Drummond's maybe.
No, that doesn't work.
I'm not saying it works. I'm just saying what else is available.
Right. To your point, Mars. Yeah.
Because Hartenstein wouldn't have been available, even though I've been pushing the Hartenstein agenda. OKC need to go pay him, by the way.
I mean, Kuz is better than PJ, so
that's fine. So they wouldn't have went
for what Dallas won.
That's what I'm saying. Like Kuz is better than PJ, so maybe you can get a little by a good margin. In my opinion, I'm just speaking from my opinion. Y'all got your own.
No, you're good.
I think Kuz clears PJ, but so it's kind of like
like Kyle Kuzma and PJ Washington. Like it's not a conversation.
I don't think it's a conversation. That's no knock to PJ.
Right.
I just think Kuz is dope.
Why do you think he clears him though, Ox? Why
he could do more. He could get
just as a basketball player. This is what we're talking about. I ain't talking about him in that Dallas system. I ain't talking about him.
I'm just talking about the straight hoop.
We're talking about straight hoop. We're talking about a 6'9" Kyle Kuzma. We're talking about a 6'9" PJ Washington. How does Kyle Kuzma clear PJ Washington as a basketball player?
Just with the ball on the offensive end, he's just
who would you rather have with the ball in their hands?
It don't got the ball don't got to be in his hands. I'm talking about coming off of screens. I'll take Kuz coming off of down picks, off of flare screens, coming to the ball. However, without the ball in his hands, I want Kuz. With the ball in his hands, I want Kuz. Shooting the ball, I want Kuz. Defensively, I think PJ's a little stronger. Yeah.
Oh boy.
That's PJ calling you right now.
Yeah. PJ or his agent are calling you because you're not keeping the same energy. You're not keeping the same energy. Remember, basketball's on both sides of the court. Basketball's this, and this.
Well, Kuz has played defense.
I didn't say I thought Kuz was a bad defender. I'm simply saying I think PJ might be a little bit of a better defender on the defensive end. I think he's stronger than Kuz. That's where
you think he a better catch and shoot guy than PJ Washington?
I think on offense, I think he clears PJ in all of it.
Kuzma a bad rebounder too.
Yeah, I don't think offensively PJ holds nothing. Nah, he don't got nothing on Kuz on the offensive end. But on the defensive end, I think he might be a little stronger than Kuz, and that's where I could see a separation. But nah, Kuz better.
He better with the Mavericks though, for sure. Though.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Kuz can be. I feel you. I would say player versus player. I do think Kuz is better than PJ. I won't argue gaps. But in terms of playing that role on the Mavericks, I think PJ's playing that role better than what Kuz could.
It's a better fit.
Kuz has the ability in the game to be able to stand in the corner and shoot.
Did we know? And I'm asking because this is once again because I'm saying for me personally, PJ wasn't playing defense like this, in my opinion, when he was in Charlotte.
Yeah.
So are we certain that Kuz couldn't get into a situation where he doesn't have as much offensively on his plate, similar to maybe the 2020 Lakers?
Yeah, when he's
and he can be a good defender. Now he's not going to be locked down on like Shea, but like he can be a positive defender.
Now wait a minute though, Mars. Okay, wait a minute, Mars, because now what we're doing is now we got a guy who just went from being a backup singer to now he's singing the lead. Now you want him to go back to being a backup singer again. Is he going to accept that role? Is he going to be productive in that role again? Because that's what he was when he was in Los Angeles with James. He was a D&3 guy. He was a guy who played in transition. Now he gets in Washington where he feels like they're trying to build something. He's become better as an offensive player, as a scorer. And now you want him to go back to that. Would he flourish in that? Would he be looking at Luka when Luka doesn't find him in the offense? Would he be looking at Kyrie Irving when Kyrie Irving is getting more shots and like, wait a minute, I should be shooting more? Would that disrupt their chemistry? Maybe it would.
That's why I feel like he didn't go. I ain't gonna lie, chill. I don't think it's more so. He just didn't want to play with Luka. I just don't think he wanted to take a lesser role. And like he said, I want to build something and have something built. Well, he didn't say have something built around me, but essentially he wants something built around him. And he has a bigger.
He want to be the man. He wants to be a part of that. I can get with that.
And also, he got paid. That's what it comes down to. He got a ring. He got a 4-year contract, $100 million contract with what? The Washington Wizards. He wasn't getting that if he stayed with the Lakers. And then go to, they
were not paying him. They weren't.
So it's just like it is what it is.
That's why he ended up leaving.
Yeah, he has already won that.
He won. He won a ring. It's stat time. It's money time.
I think I think they got him. Didn't they get him for? Maybe no, I got it wrong because I was thinking about the contract that he
traded
signed.
Russ. They traded Russ.
Cruz was in the Westbrook deal, I thought.
They traded Westbrook
Okay.
deal, and then they
And
got
KCP.
100 million.
And then they extended him. Okay, because I was thinking about
Yeah.
the 3 years at 42. But
He
he
was
did
a
that
free
with the
agent
Lakers.
last
Oh no, yeah, he got an
He was a free agent
extension.
last
He did that
offseason.
with the Lakers.
They re-signed him.
What do you get? A 4-year 90 or 4-year 100?
He was a free agent last offseason.
I have no idea. It's somewhere in that range. I
Yeah,
know.
that's what
He's
I'm
getting
saying.
like 20. He's getting like 20 plus a year, I think.
It's stat time. We getting paid and we putting up stats. Like it
Yeah,
is.
he got one more contract, at least one more contract to
One
get.
more, is that?
If he's
Ugh.
able to stay around.
Shout out to Washington.
Shout out to Washington, right?
Kuzma.
James B apparently disliked or liked the Pistons talk, so he chimed in with a super chat. He said, "Mars, watch your mouth. I watch more Pistons games than you and have clean water. That's Flint, not Detroit. Ox been lying about me, and that's all he does.
Okay, buddy.
Ron, you apologized, but now you want to press Ron. Well,
Just because you got the water filter on your sink, don't mean your tap water clean, buddy.
Yeah, James B, show me you doing this.
Nasty, bro.
Kyle Kuzma's
Refreshing.
deal was for 4 years and $90 million.
what I'm saying.
Hey, shout out to Kyle Kuzma, man. Get your money.
Yeah, get money.
Hey, but Mark, speaking of water, though, I would like to take this time to say, just another tip for y'all. When you're brushing your teeth, make sure to turn the water off. Don't leave y'all faucets running. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to be environmentally
protecting
friendly.
the
You know
environment.
what I'm saying? Yeah, we're trying to be environmentally friendly here. You know what I'm saying? So that's just the tip of the day, man. Yeah. Turn that faucet off. You're killing
Wasting
turtles.
water
and
my whole
dolphins.
life.
You proud of that, Damo?
Yeah, man. Fuck them turtles.
Nah, I'm all for the environment, apart from those paper straws.
The environment done for me.
Paper straws is
Damo-
where it's a bit
Oh,
too
it's
far.
crazy.
Damo, we have children, Damo. I mean, we got to leave the planet to somebody, dog.
I ain't got no children yet.
They'll be all right.
Nah, we
Now-
gonna
now
be
my
stru- we gonna be
great-grandchildren?
struggling
I don't know
because of
about
you.
that.
Though. It's cool.
Hey, great grands. Hey, that's tough. My daughter be straight. My daughters, they'll be straight.
all right, y'all. It's a good time to go ahead and talk about it. The 76ers have reportedly been linked to small forwards that are max level guys that they want to add onto their roster. So it's 4 guys that they've talked about that they've been linked to. The first one being LeBron James. The second one being a potential reunion with Jimmy Butler. The third one being going out west to the Clippers and getting Paul George. And the fourth being going down south to New Orleans and acquiring Brandon Ingram. I need you guys to talk to me about these moves. Which ones do you hate? Which ones do you love for the 76ers?
I want to say real quick, to get Jimmy, that would have to be for a trade, right? That would have to be because he's not a free agent.
Yeah.
I think he still got 2 more.
I like the idea of Jimmy. Okay, they'll have to trade him. LeBron will decline his player. Brandon Ingram would have to be a trade too, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think New Orleans are trying to get off him, so it probably wouldn't be too pricey.
Yeah. And then Paul George, free agent this year, yeah.
Free
Walked
agent,
right out
yeah.
the front door.
LeBron, if he declines his player, he's a free agent. So will Paul George. Trade. Okay.
James is not putting on a Philadelphia 76ers uniform. Let's dead that right now.
They
Why
shouldn't
not?
go
Why
for him.
not? Why not?
They shouldn't go for him, Joe.
Well, one of the main reasons why he ain't putting on a Philly uniform is because Philly ain't drafting his son. So that's not happening. So
They don't need LeBron.
Hey, Philly got like this
Yes,
18
they
pick,
do.
something like that. They
Yes,
could use
they
it.
do. And
Use it on Bron.
yeah, they're not doing that. Tobias Harris, which by the way, Mars, you took some years off my life yesterday with that Tobias Harris, Jayson Tatum logic. Yes, you did. I can't handle it. I'm trying to be diplomatic here, but anyway, I do think Paul George works more with Joel Embiid than Tobias Harris. I feel like Tobias Harris is more of an up and down guy. I feel like he's playing more in a wide open offense. I said this to Ox. I like Tobias Harris in Sacramento. I love him in Sacramento. I like Paul George. I like Paul George with Philly because I feel like as a one-on-one player, which is what they need, with a downhill guy like Maxey, I mean, they don't really, outside of Joel Embiid, they don't really have anybody on the wing that they could go to for buckets as a shot creator. They don't really have that. And I feel like Paul George got another year, 2 years tops before he's over. So I think you can maximize him with a 2-year deal. That's as far as I'm going with Paul George. I'm not going past 2 years with him. I'm going 3 years with an op after 2. That's as far as I'm going with him.
What's a max?
Yeah, he wants a max.
Then maybe 34. Maybe Philly ain't it. I think he'll be 30. Yeah,
He's 34 years old.
He'll be 35 next year when the playoffs start. I'm not going past 2 years with Paul George.
Damn. That's crazy.
The playoffs start next year.
He came in 2010.
Is that crazy though?
That's crazy, bro. I remember when Paul George was like 23 years old. Jesus.
It seemed like it was.
Well,
just
yeah, from that
right?
aspect, I'm about to say paying a guy. I thought you were saying paying a guy that much is 35. I'm like, I don't know if that's crazy. I mean,
No, I think fit wise, like OG said, definitely Philadelphia Sixers would love to have Paul George. I think he plug him in right away, third option, 3-and-D guy. But I think long term, I would rather have probably Brandon Ingram. This guy has a lot of upside, a lot of potential, can rebound, can also defend. He's also improved his 3-point output over the years. And as well as, let's say if Joel Embiid wants out, you trade Joel Embiid, now you have a dynamic duo of Tyrese and Brandon Ingram, which is still young, and then you get the pieces back. So I like that for a long-term fit. But for a perfect fit, definitely Paul George.
I like the sound of Jimmy Butler. I like the sound of Jimmy Butler for 2 reasons. Well, their biggest concern has to be to get Joel Embiid healthy. You got to pray every day. You go in the postseason with Embiid healthy. That's number one.
You're praying for Jimmy Butler these days too now.
Yeah, but Embiid's your best
That's
player.
why Riley ain't paid him yet. For that reason right there, what you just said. That's why Riley ain't paid him.
Embiid's your best player, and that matters the most. But I would go for Jimmy Butler because they desperately need a third option, like you guys saying. Somebody other than Embiid and Maxey who can provide 15 and 20, because Tobias Harris is a joke. He's a joke. You can't go into
it's not. Whoa! Stop right there.
You can't go into a championship run with Tobias Harris as your third best player.
It just doesn't
You've done
work
this for
with
too
him.
many years.
No,
you can't go on a championship run with Tobias as your third best player.
I just don't think he works with this unit.
I think
Tobias Harris I think he's an 18. I think he's an 18, 19 a game guy in a faster paced offense.
He's an 18, 19 a game guy on like the Wizards. But when you're trying to be
I think he's an 18, 19 a game guy. No, I definitely believe that 18 and 19 is more productive in Sacramento. It's more productive with the Warriors. I think it's much better. I think it's much better playing with he's only 32 years old, so he's still got some years left. I feel like he still has some good years.
The problem was
he was just terrorizing them with his shooting.
He was getting paid.
I think they need a more serious, consistent third option, and they also need a dog. I mean, especially when Embiid's hurt, they lost to New York not because they were worse than New York. Because those games, I think New York won the total series by 1 point because they didn't have – New York just wanted it more than Philadelphia. And Jimmy Butler's a dog. We saw in that 1 year he was with Philly. He had all the heart. He brought it down to Miami. I think they just need one more, this guy who just wants it all and can have 17 points as well and be more consistent than Tobias Harris. Because Jimmy Butler will give you more hustle.
You think the Sixers lost because they didn't have the heart to get rebounds?
I think they lost the rebound battle by a big-time margin in that series.
And you think Jimmy Butler's solving that?
No,
he gives more hustle. He also gives more hustle.
The Heat are one of the worst rebounding teams in the league. Where's Jimmy?
He brings defense to the team. He brings more hustle to the team. You can sign another big for that. But I'm talking about your third best player.
I never subscribe to that wanting it more. Casual. Just because I'm hungry or I'm starving, that does not mean that I'm going to eat before you do. That does not mean that.
Wanting more, crashing the glass better, boxing out stronger. They did that a lot better than Philadelphia.
You think Philly weren't trying to rebound?
Jimmy Butler doesn't.
New York wanted more. Josh Hart wanted more. Hartenstein wanted more.
I'm better than you at this. It's not because I wanted more.
Most of rebounds are effort. Rebounds is a lot of effort.
I don't really like
Jimmy Butler's not a guy that's about to help that.
So why are Miami such a bad rebounding team? They don't try?
Okay, it's about rebounding. I'm talking about just another dog, another guy who will die.
Just rebounding is effort.
Casual, you do know.
But I'm not talking about rebounding. I'm also talking about more things.
But I understand that. But the question I'm asking, if rebounding is effort, why are Miami a bad rebounding team with the dog of Jimmy Butler?
He's the heart and soul of that Philly team.
So Casual, let me ask you this: when you're talking about wanting more, what did they want more? You said they wanted it more. What did they want more? What did what did the Knicks want more than Philly? And what did they do what did it take to win that series?
Rebounding, hustle, defense.
I want to stop right there. I want you to stop right there. I want you to know Josh Hart, just so you know, he led the playoffs in rebounding. Yes. I want to make sure we clear on that. That doesn't mean that Philly wasn't trying to rebound. They just were going up against a damn good rebounder.
Game 2, Hardenstein went down the middle of the paint, free by
that doesn't
himself.
necessarily mean
Got
somebody
the rebound, kicked out DiVincenzo for a bang.
They just got out executed. I think we use these buzz terms like a dog.
Nah, they wanted it more.
Wanted it more and stuff.
They
like
hustled more.
That
They
doesn't
played
get-
harder.
You get to the playoffs, and there's not a team that wants it less. Like
Okay.
everyone wants
They
it.
do- they
Like,
do
we're
so
not-
Except
like,
the
we're not
Clippers
about-
in the
we're-
bubble.
Like, yeah, we're not sure. We're not about to minimize
Get the Clippers
everything
out.
New York
Get
did
the Clippers
to they won it more. They were the best rebounding team the whole year. Like, they're just better at rebounding than these teams. Mitchell Robinson, when he was healthy, was the best rebounder in the league. They didn't have Isaiah Hartenstein coming in, one of the best rebounders in the league. Josh Hart, we've been speaking about Josh Hart and how good of a rebounder he is for like 3 years now. That's just what Josh Hart is. They're good rebounders, not because they want it more. Because if that was the case, a team that wants it more than everyone is the Miami Heat. And they don't rebound. They get like the least amount of rebounds in the league. So are we gonna say they don't want it? No, because I think Miami won it.
Well, rebounding
So, I
isn't
don't-
just everything, but I was okay, whatever.
That's why the Philly lost because they weren't getting rebounds. That's why they lost. And it's not that they weren't getting rebounds because they didn't try to get rebounds. They couldn't rebound with the Knicks.
There was
The Knicks
multiple
were better at
possessions
them.
where Philadelphia wasn't boxing out. New York was jumping higher, being more aggressive on the boards than Philly. Philly is a 7-foot
higher.
guy in the paint, not
Wouldn't that
grabbing
be-
rebounds.
Wouldn't that
Wouldn't
be-
that
And if that's
attest
not
to the
effort,
Knicks?
then I don't know what it
I
is.
mean,
Jumping
wouldn't that
higher
just
is not
attest-
effort.
If
wouldn't
I
that
don't,
just
if
attest
I
to
have
the
a
Knicks
7-foot
being
guy
a
in the
better
paint,
rebounding
and then I'm
team?
letting a 6'4" guy creep up behind me and get the rebound over me, is that effort or is that something else?
Well,
effort.
you
I think
know,
that's just a better rebounder. I think
When
that's
New
just a
York
better
gets
rebounder.
5 offensive rebounds or 4 offensive rebounds in a same possession, at some point it's just effort because most of the
Or
rebounding
they're
isn't
just a
effort.
better
New York is a
rebounding
good rebounding team, but New York also
They're a
tries
great rebounding
really
team.
hard. That's what lets them be a good rebounding team. Josh Hart's probably the best guard rebounder in the league, but a lot of it's because he tries really hard, plays the whole damn game. He crashes the glass. He wants the rebound. A lot of these Philly teams, they're just letting OG Anunoby get 20 rebounds. OG Anunoby shouldn't be getting 15 rebounds in one of those games. He shouldn't. It's not because New York's such a great rebounding team, but rebounding has a lot to do with effort. In Philly, in my opinion, that series just lost the effort battle because they were the better team, in my opinion. They lost the effort battle.
Can I just say, when it comes to
just
Philly,
lost because Joel Embiid was coming off an injury once again, and he wasn't 100% fully healthy. That could be a reason as well.
Well, Philly lost a game where Joel Embiid had like a lot of points. I forgot what.
he went
how
almost
many it
50
was.
and 20. They had a game where he went almost 50 and 20. I think he went 48 and like 17, some nonsense like that.
Did Joel Embiid not want that game? Did he not want
Well,
that
there
game?
was possessions where Embiid wasn't boxing out. Part of it, again, I said part of it was because he
It's
was
execution.
hurt.
Lack of
Part of it was
execution.
he was hurt. But there was
But it's
possessions
also
like
part of lack
Embiid,
of
come on, you're
execution.
7 foot. You can't get that rebound. How is
It's
Joe?
part
How
of-
are
it's
you?
part of lack of
How did the
execution.
Knicks have 3 or 4 leading rebounders in that game before we get to a 76er?
The New York Knicks were top 3 all
They're a
year.
better rebounding team.
Because they also try. It's also because the Knicks tried
better
so hard in the
rebounders.
regular season. That's also why they were up there. That's why they got to where they are. They tried. That's how they got the 2 seed. They just tried harder than a lot of other people.
I guess.
I think-
I don't know how
I
you
think-
watch the series
yeah,
and see
okay.
that Knicks, and that was a lot of people's takeaways, that the Knicks just wanted it more. I think when you win a series by 1 point, margins that small in sports are largely won by like the little things like effort. And I think in that series against New York, Knicks just wanted it more. They just had more effort. They were better on the glass. Part of that's because they had a better rebounding team. Their big man rotation, Hardenstein, Robinson, Josh Hart's a good rebounder, but they trashed harder on the glass. They were more aggressive.
How does
Josh
Jimmy
Hart,
Soulers-
Hardenstein, game 2, goes from the top of the key all the way down the paint, unprotected, grabs a rebound, kicks out for a game winner.
How does Jimmy Butler solve that?
I was just talking about I was talking about the 17 to 20 points per game as their solidified third option, much better playoff player than Tobias Harris, and then he's a dog in the locker room. You saw in the 2019 team, who was the heart of that team? It was Jimmy Butler. He hustles, he plays
think that door's
defense,
closed
he's
on
a
Buckets.
leader, the vocal leader. He adds more to that. Now you got to go get another big, but Paul Reed's pretty good, but that's what Jimmy Butler can do. I'm not saying Jimmy Butler all of a sudden, but Jimmy Butler can't get 5, 6, 7 rebounds. Jimmy Butler can't put an elbow into OG Anunoby. He can't do that.
Just so you know, Cat.
and that
It sounds like you just got Kelly Oubre with Tobias Harris scoring.
And on top of that,
just got Kelly Oubre to buy his house.
And on top of that, on opening night, Jimmy Butler's going to be 35. So casual, just so you know, the Miami Heat probably got the best of Jimmy Butler. You're going to get what's left. And whatever is left,
he's going to be your third option.
And whatever, and I don't think that he's coming into Philly thinking about being a third option. I don't think he's thinking that. No.
Well, how many players did he sign?
Because I think it's something completely
different. The other list, though, Chilltown, who was on the list? LeBron, Brandon Ingram, Paul George. People have been a 2 or 1 option their entire lives.
Right.
Some younger than Jimmy Butler. So you kind of have no choice to force somebody who has never been a third option as your number 3.
Even with him being a third option, to Mars's point, does he alleviate the issue that you were talking about? Because it sounds like they only lost to New York because of effort. It wasn't because they had more talent. It wasn't because these guys got outplayed in different areas. It sounds like it was an effort issue.
Yeah,
Jimmy Butler
doesn't bring effort. And Jimmy Butler doesn't bring effort.
So an older Jimmy Butler, not the best version of Jimmy Butler, whom you had, by the way, who you let walk out the front door to the Miami Heat. So now you're going to bring him back older. You're going to expect him to put more effort in than what you had with this crew, an older Jimmy Butler.
I think you're also exaggerating how old Jimmy Butler is. Just because he's going to be 34, 35 doesn't mean he's going to walk in a game with a cane. He's going to be productive.
I do think, though, with Jimmy Butler, something we are underestimating is, yes, he is a dog, but everybody doesn't receive that dog the same. You can say, oh, he was a fuse for that 19 team. Everybody wasn't so inclined to Jimmy Butler on the 19 team. Not saying that there weren't players that liked him. Everyone wasn't so keen to it. Then he went to Minnesota, and he went from Minnesota
he was in Minnesota first, yeah.
And before he got there, he was in Minnesota, and we seen how that shit diffused into just a nuclear bomb because of the dog that he was. And them dudes just wasn't with it.
Yeah. So he almost made them dudes, chill. He almost made them dudes. What y'all talking about is y'all think you gotta like each other to play basketball together, and that's not the case. It's never been the case. But I'm trying to figure out if y'all are saying that Jimmy Butler on this Sixers team doesn't beat the Knicks.
He does. They do.
100% they do.
They beat the Knicks. Oh my! They lost a series by 1 point. Jimmy Butler's on this team. They beat the Knicks.
They probably would have beat the Knicks if Joel Embiid was fully healthy. So I mean, you can do the what if.
Well, Joel Embiid's never fully healthy going to the playoffs. So your idea,
and I'm not much trying to do the what if thing. I'm just saying, like, if that's the question we're having, if that's the hypothetical we're dealing with right now, I'm for sure gonna jump in on this hypothetical and make it clear that Jimmy Butler on this Sixers team beats the Knicks. Y'all trying and then before y'all slipped in a little, Damo and Chill, y'all slipped in a little. Oh well, that's how come Pat Riley's not gonna sign Jimmy because he's got some word. Oh, okay, my bad.
I said that.
No, that was Damo.
I said that.
I can't believe Damo said that.
I'm saying, come on, like he didn't just have him in the finals last year. You get hurt at the beginning of these playoffs, and now Pat Riley acts like you're what, chopped liver, you're spoiled goods because you got hurt that time after just having him in the finals two of the past 5 years. Y'all playing with Jimmy Butler, and I'm not really sure why. I'm not really sure why y'all playing with Jimmy.
I think they're better with Jimmy. I think they would have beat the Knicks with Jimmy. I just don't think they would have beat the Knicks because they would have wanted it more with Jimmy. Like that's like
all right. Well, to say Jimmy Butler's not going to give effort just because he's 34, he's going to walk in with gray hairs and be bad back and slow.
I'm not saying that. That's not what I'm saying.
Okay, so then he's going to bring effort. So that's what we're saying.
Okay, sure. Is it going to be enough to be? Is it going to be enough to advance? That's the $1 million question.
They lost to the Knicks by 1 point.
Let me ask you this:
Jimmy Butler can't become a 1 point
cumulative. That doesn't make sense because they lost game one. They lost game one by 7 points.
Mars, let that go, Mars.
Why are we going to use cumulative? Like the series isn't played cumulatively. The games they won was by like 12 and like 6, and then the games they lost was combined by like 13. But they were losing the games. So like, why are we using cumulative scores to say the series was closer than it was? It's not like they lost every game by 1.
Yeah, well, we understand that, Mars.
Yeah, but that's not how a series is played.
So
okay, but you can do that. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but you can do that with like everything. Like, I averaged 30 in a series, but really you had 12
and I say that's disingenuous. Yeah, and I say that.
And on top of that,
I say that's stupid because Devin Booker just averaged 27 in a sweep because he had 49.
Why are you trying to devalue Jimmy Butler? You know what? Oh, you know what? Chill. See, this goes back. Chill. Never mind, chill. I don't want to turn this into a Celtics versus Miami thing. I don't want to do it.
Please do it.
No, because you're devaluing the Heat. You did this to Jimmy Butler. You do this to Terry Rozier.
I'm not devaluing Jimmy Butler. Pat Riley knows who he
No,
is.
the
That's
reason
he
why
ain't
they're
paying him.
devaluing Jimmy Butler, probably the reason why Pat Riley doesn't want Jimmy Butler anymore is because they're so sick and damn tired of being the 7th, 8th seed every year, praying they go on this insanity run to the NBA Finals. That's why they want to move off the Jimmy Butler era.
That's why.
Because they're so sick of being the 8th seed,
And you
praying
have to
they're going to go on
expect
an
them to do
insanity
something
run to the finals.
astronomical
And they want
at
to
the end
move
of the
on
year.
from that. And they want to move on from that. But just because Pat Riley wants to move off of Jimmy Butler as his number 1 doesn't mean Philly can't absorb him as their number 3. I just saw a team taking Kyrie Irving.
That's a good point too.
I saw a team taking Kyrie Irving when Kyrie Irving had a negative market, and now they're in the NBA Finals. So just because one team doesn't want him doesn't mean another team can't use him in the right way. And I think if you put Jimmy in the third option, that's better than Tobias Harris. If you convince me that Jimmy Butler as the third option of this team is not an upgrade over Tobias in the postseason where Jimmy makes money. Of course. Then I don't know where I don't want like.
Is Jimmy Butler not better than Tyrese Maxey? Like we're saying third optional. Is he not better than Tyrese Maxey?
It's not about being better though. I think
Tyrese
gets majority more
wanted to
shots.
be the number 2 for his development.
Okay, so it's not option in terms of just
option.
At least that's all.
Going forward, Tyrese Maxey, you want to be
number 2. Because in the postseason, you probably want to give the keys to Jimmy Butler in the postseason.
Yeah, that's what I was asking. I just wanted to know that.
I got a question.
Who's better, but who can be the third? Because Philly's future, you want to keep that Maxey second option eventually to number 1. Keep that rolling.
I like that.
But Jimmy Butler, but Jimmy Butler's not going to outscore Tyrese Maxey if they were both on the same Philly team.
I'm telling you right now, Ron, and I'm going to keep it a bean with you. Joel Embiid gets hurt next year. I'm out. I'm letting you know that right now.
Should be out already.
Nah, he gets hurt next year. He gets hurt next year, Philly in 2026. I don't know what to tell you, man.
I'm letting you know that right now, Ron. But go ahead. I just want to put that out.
But chill. Ron's still on the Joel train. I guarantee you. If you ask him right now, he'll tell you.
Welcome, Ron. Welcome.
Well, if they about to get Jimmy Butler, I'm not going nowhere.
I hate you,
ride this train. I'm going to ride this train to the wheels crack.
I'm out.
Hey, but chill. I will say this though. I was thinking on it like sometime last week, and I'm kind of coming around to the idea of Tobias Harris on the Kings.
I think the style of play that he played in Philly, I think it's better. I don't think it fit his game. I think he's better on a more fast-paced team, a more wide-open team, a team that plays behind the long ball line more. I just feel like he's better with you guys. I feel like he would be better with you guys.
The Wizards led the league in pace, by the way.
I feel like he got a. I feel like he got on the Wizards. I feel like he got a West Coast. For some reason, I feel like he got a West Coast offense, like a West Coast game. Even though, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Mars, if it wasn't, I think it was Indiana who led the league in pace. It wasn't.
No, it was Washington.
Was it Washington? Because I know Indiana was at the top of the league, but I mean Dallas was also at the top of the league too. So
yeah, it's definitely gonna be fire watching Tobias play against the Mavericks this week. I can't wait to see that. But Ahmad, you had a question though.
Wow.
Yeah, I was gonna ask Casual, is the move Jimmy Butler coming to the Knicks, is that enough to go to the NBA Finals?
I mean, the Philly.
Jimmy to Philly. Yeah.
Jimmy to Philly. That's what I meant.
Well, how do you get Jimmy to Philly? Oh, Jimmy to Philly.
Yeah.
Just push him over the top.
Is that a move to Finals? No, because at the end of the day, it comes down to it can make them a Finals team. I said at the start, you got to pray Embiid's healthy. Embiid's healthy, you're a Finals team. But if Embiid's not healthy or he comes in 70, 80%, that changes it. Anytime your star, no matter Giannis, Tatum, they come in 70, 80%, you're not the best team in the league, contender. It all comes down to his health.
We've matter seen what already though. We've seen this. If I'm not mistaken, 2 years ago, Joel Embiid shows up to camp. He's 20 pounds lighter. We've seen this from him, and he broke down.
So just blow it up. So don't add anything in the offseason. Then just blow it up.
He got his face broken. I'm giving this one more year, and then I'm out on. If he gets hurt again next year, I'm out on Joel Embiid.
If you have Embiid, you either blow it up or keep adding.
But that's why I was
not do anything with Joel Embiid.
That's why I was scared
he gets hurt. Because there could be a year where he doesn't get hurt or he's not as hurt. And then he finally gives you that postseason run because Anthony Davis, I remember AD went like 3-4 years straight getting hurt. And then they finally had a year where he's healthy and they made the Western Conference Finals. If there's a year where he's finally healthy or 90% and you didn't make any moves, you screwed yourself. So you either got to fully commit to Embiid or just got to let him go. You can't have Embiid on your team, that level of player, and not do anything around him.
Yo, Mars, Ox, 2025.
Facts.
That's their last year, though, Joe. I agree. One more year, and then it's like, bro. then
But
it's
that's why they should go after probably Brandon Ingram over Jimmy Butler though, because if you only giving it 1 year, or if you have this like attitude like, damn, this is it, then we're gonna probably try to move on from Joe Embiid. Why would you want Jimmy Butler on a 4-year contract? Or
would it make it 4 years? Just because you
I
get
think
Butler,
Jimmy's looking for an extension. I don't think he's going somewhere that isn't going to
He's
extend.
looking for the max with Miami. He wants the max.
Well, Jimmy Butler wants a max. If I'm Philly, I would entertain a max, but it all depends.
First of all, he's still under contract with Miami. He got 2 more years on his deal. He's looking.
Yeah,
for
but
an
he's extension eligible. Yeah.
Yeah, he's looking for an extension.
So that's
in
probably
Miami.
2 more extra years, right?
And that 2 more years, he's looking for 110 million. I don't know how you dudes math work. That's 55 million a season at 37 years old for Jimmy Butler.
Yeah, he's crazy. He'll probably be gone.
This is a dude who's giving you, I think, 61 games over the last 10 years. On average, he's giving you 61 games. The reason why Pat Riley isn't blown away with, because 1, I think he thinks he's gotten everything he's going to get out of him, and 2, he ain't feeling paying Jimmy Butler $38 million, $57 million at age 30, at age 37. He ain't feeling that, and I don't blame him.
OG, Dwayne Wade is my favorite player of all time, and they let the greatest Heat player walk out the door for like a $3 million difference and kept Hassan Whiteside.
And Pat Riley's on record saying that he regrets the way he handled Dwayne Wade's contract. He's on record saying that.
We'll see how much he regrets it when it comes to Jimmy Butler, I guess.
I wouldn't put Jimmy Butler.
I'm not saying no. I'm just saying, of course, but I'm just saying, like, we'll see if that's the case. Because to me, if he let Dwayne Wade go, I'm thinking he's gonna let Jimmy Butler go too.
Or he learned from his mistakes.
Jimmy's not staying around for that whole contract.
Yeah, but still, either way, that goes both ways, bro. It's 2 sides to that coin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can look at it like, oh man, I don't want to make the same mistake I made with D Wade. Or I could look at it like, don't let me get sentimental and put myself in a hole because I'm regretting what I did with D Wade.
Take the emotion out of it.
Let me focus on business, because I know what I just said about Jimmy Butler, but there's no way on God's beautiful, lovely green earth this man is gonna get $55 million a year at 37 years old from Pat Riley.
She nice looking, Ice. She nice looking, Ox.
He won't get a max
$400,000 knowing for a fact in 3 years I can't afford this house. I'm not doing it.
No.
She nice looking though. She's been good to me, but I don't know if I'm going that far. No.
Go ahead and downsize.
So I ain't downsizing nothing. We upsizing. She gonna buy it. Hey, but
and Ron is the reason why that now my credit bad. Ron is the reason why the house is gonna be in foreclosure because of Ron. Because why? Ron is dealing in emotion. I ain't dealing in emotion. We got to deal in business, Ron. This is what we got to do. And we've seen Miami. Pat Riley has recognized that in these last 5 years. Remember, Ron, what I have now. I got Jimmy Butler at 29 years old. So I basically got 5 prime years of Jimmy Butler. I didn't get him on the back end. I didn't get him leading up to that. I got 5 prime years of Jimmy Butler. I might have maybe 1 more year prime of Jimmy Butler. That's it. Now you want me to give you 3 extra years of thank you money. Hell no, I ain't doing that.
But that's also on Pat Riley's fault, because during those years, they kind of, if you look at they went to the finals twice, but nobody really expected the Heat to go to those finals. And then number 2, it's just kind of like, it's been players that they could have went out and made trades for, and they did not make trades for. So I'm Jimmy Butler. I'm looking like, yo, I've went to 2 finals. You haven't really got me any help. It's like you kind of like owe me something. That's probably how Jimmy Butler's kind of thinking it. So
yeah, but he couldn't have went and got Dame though. Like, the Dame move would have put them in a bad hole, giving up everybody.
Which is fine.
I don't know. I don't know who
that telephone and called up Portland and got Drew Holiday down there. He could have done that.
It's a lot. There we go. You got Drew Holiday. There's a guy. Trey Young's available right now. Zach LaVine's available. It's some players out that you can make
definitely. I thought OG was going to end up down there this year.
OG, would have been a good fit. Like, it's some players out there, and Pat Riley's been kind of like, no,
running it back. Hey, we can't
run it back.
We can't just keep running it back.
That's what I'm saying. So
we can't just keep.
What do you think? You think Pat Riley feels like, man, you guys get to play basketball and live in South Beach, like you're living a life. Don't worry about it. We'll just keep running it back. Like,
I think the overachieving, kind of like, oh, we went to the finals. Our team good twice. They overachieve, so they like F it.
Riles is thinking like they did in the past when he was with the Lakers, when he was with the Knicks. Like, yo, we was right there, we lost, run it back, let's go again. When in reality, that's not the way the NBA works. Teams get better. teams get better. The conference gets better. If you're going to run it back, and if you think you're going to run it back with the same crew, when meanwhile other teams have gotten better, the East did get better. Cleveland got better, with the exception of with Joel Embiid getting hurt. Philly got better. Philly was going to be at the top of the league this year. It's the same Philly that y'all played a year before that. If Joel Embiid wasn't hurt, we're talking about something completely different, right? We're talking about something completely different. Indiana got better. These teams got better. Orlando got better. So we can't just keep doing what we did with the same crew. That's not to say we can't keep our core, but we can't just keep running it back with the same thing.
Yo, Ahmad, I do want to say though, I like Brandon Ingram and Tyrese Maxey.
I like that too. For
what it's worth, whether Joel is there or not, I'm not. I like that. So you don't like that,
Damo? These are reading glasses, right? And my vision is pretty good. Can you please turn me on to Brandon Ingram? Like I'm missing. I know he's a baller, but I'm missing something. Please help me. I'm missing something.
It's the motor.
Please, Damo, I'm missing something with this dude. I am. What am I missing with this guy?
Better get to go. Yeah, Brandon Ingram was gonna be the guy I chose anyway in the scenario. I feel like that would have been the best option in terms of the regular season. I understand everybody's talking about the playoffs, but they got to get there. And we seen this year when Joel Embiid went down, right. they were a playing team, and God forbid they didn't win their playing game. They wouldn't have been a playoff team. So yeah, I think a guy like Ingram would be the best bet, long term and short term. Ingram's game is just, in my opinion, it's an acquired taste. I mean, it's the same. I'm not gonna say same issues he's always had, but we were having these conversations about Ingram this summer. We was playing USA ball. We've been having these conversations about Ingram for a minute. Everybody's not gonna be hip to his game, and that's fine. I mess with his game. I feel like it's I'm not gonna say a motor thing. I'm not gonna say a want thing, but it's kind of a fit thing. For him, he has it's a passive aggressiveness to him, in my opinion, where if he's in a situation and he likes it, he's gonna be relatively cool. Health actually has a lot to deal with why this season didn't look as good as it should have. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'm not as high on Brandon Ingram as I used to be, so it's going to be hard for me to just go out here and sell you a pin when you don't got a pin. But the best
we're going into year 9, by the way, Damo. I think this year, I think we're going into year 9. Year 8 or year
No. Ingram came in
16.
Actually, 16, yeah. So actually, we are going in year 8 or 9. Yep. I will say this though. In terms of me selling you Brandon Ingram, I'll say this. If you're the 76ers, do you have a Brandon Ingram?
No, we don't.
There you go.
Also, too, though, like I think Brandon Ingram is best fit as a second option. Like, and with the Pelicans, it's kind of been a teeter-totter. They've been trying to figure out, okay, is it Zion? Is it Brandon? Mm-hmm. And then you got CJ there, too, some nights where he'll lead the team in scoring. But I'm like, over there, I think it will be, and this is obviously with Joel not there. Over there, if it's just him and Tyrese Maxey, I think it's definitively Tyrese Maxey is your number one option. So now it's a little easier for Brandon Ingram to pick and choose, and I just like they dynamic next to each other. I think they could play off of each other.
Mm. Yeah, I will say you can't, if you were going to make an offseason addition, you can't have in the back of your head, what if Embiid's down? Can this guy be my second option? Because again, there's going to be.
You do have to prepare for that.
I know, but I'm going to say that's not.
The Lakers kind of had that in mind with Westbrook. Like, what if Anthony Davis or LeBron misses games, and then Westbrook could be your 2 option? I think there's going to be a time.
Pick a bad player. They picked a bad player.
I know.
When it comes to the Sixers, his entire career he's been injured. This is not.
My thing is,
if you are trying to compete, you have to.
If you're trying to compete in the playoffs, you need Embiid there. So your number one focus should be this guy's my third option. Because if Embiid's hurt, what if he could be my second option? If Embiid's hurt, you stand no chance. If Embiid's hurt, you stand no chance.
So but aren't we prepared for that though, Kaz?
I'm going to say that's what you built the team for. In my opinion, if I'm the Sixers,
player to be hurt, if he's hurt,
you should if he's been hurt his entire career. This is your literally.
Get rid of him. You got to go all in on him or don't. Then get rid of him.
I'm with it. Hey, I'm
with it. You just got to have to get rid of him. You got to be all in on him or don't.
If you're not going to trade, you can be all in while also building your team with the mindset of Joel Embiid is not going to be 100% when we get to the playoffs. And that's fine because that's who he's been his entire career. This is different than people having these conversations about Anthony Davis in 2021, 2022. It's different because that was a new thing. That was an outlier. Anthony Davis has not been injured his whole career. He became a guy that ended up getting injuries at a certain point. Joel Embiid has been hurt his entire career. They drafted him hurt. They started playing him hurt. He won MVPs playing hurt. He's gotten the playoffs playing hurt. He has played his entire career hurt. You go with the mindset of my best player is going to be hurt. How are we going to build around this? I'm not.
Then get rid of him. Then you have to get rid of him. I don't like the fact that like my best player is going to be hurt come postseason time. Then get rid of him. I think if you're trying to win a championship with that guy as your best player, I don't like half-assing it. You either go all in on him or
it's
you
not
don't.
half-assing.
It is half-assing.
It is not half-assing. Building your team to be prepared.
It's just being prepared for both scenarios.
Thank you. Next man up mentality.
It's not like you're bringing in. It's not like you're bringing in OG Anunoby. Like you're bringing in another great player who can be a number 3 and a number 2.
You can't do both.
That's what it is.
You have to build the team for Embiid and Maxey. Who's going to be the best third player for Embiid and Maxey? Not somebody who can kind of be the best third player for Embiid and Maxey, but be a really good number 2 behind Maxey if Embiid goes down. I think you got to go all in. All in.
We're talking about right now. LeBron, Paul George, Jimmy Butler, Brandon Ingram. All those guys, they are 2s or 3s throughout the season. And if Embiid's not there, 2 of these guys can be a 1 next to Maxey if Embiid's not there. These are all guys that fit that criteria.
Embiid's not there, you have no chance to win a championship. I think you got to go all in on the path that wins you a championship. And if
just because you can be aware of the fact that this dude gets hurt every year doesn't mean I'm going to go any less hard in building my roster, and it doesn't mean that he's necessarily going to get hurt. But if you're going to be the leader, you have to be able to understand we need contingency plans. We need to figure out what happens if he goes down. That's okay, cool, because BI can go for 27. You know what I'm saying?
And by the way,
we want him to be healthy, of course.
Got to be all in.
By the way, that is being all in. Now I understand what you're saying. Like that is being all in. I'm all in because I'm building the best team I can build. But I also am aware that I need to build a team that's good enough just in case this guy gets hurt. I don't understand how is that a negative at all. When you build something, you want to make sure you got a sturdy foundation. You want to make sure that if something up here breaks, it doesn't collapse the whole house. You know what I mean? So I don't see what's the issue.
And Ox, I want you to expand on that because to your point, you're not building a contingency plan on what might happen. You're building this plan on what has been going on.
Always happens.
This is what's going on.
I live somewhere. I live somewhere where it's tornadoes. If I'm building a house, I want to make sure we got a shelter. You know what I'm saying? Like if we got hurricanes, make sure we. You know what I'm saying? We got we got the protection we need. Earthquakes.
Which I wanted to ask Mars. My whole point is. I know what you're talking about, Casual, but I wanted to ask Mars because Mars said it's not like we get an OG Anunoby. Maybe the play style, what Philadelphia has needs to change. Kind of like what's going on in New York with having Tibbs and having defensive wings and building your team around dirty work and things of that nature, as opposed to just continuously doing what you're doing. Because that's obviously not working. So maybe
try to do that this year, though, Chill. They started with Pat Beverly. They went and got Kelly Oubre. They got DeAnthony Melton.
And it was working until Joel Embiid went down. They were in the top 3 in the league.
Casual, I think Casual does have a point though, because it's either all in or nothing. But the problem is you're not going to win it. You're not going to win a championship probably with Joel Embiid being your best player.
Then get rid of him. That's my point. Then get rid of him. If you're going to sit around here and if your best player, if you're the owner, general manager, and you're looking at your best player like, I got to build a team just in case he gets hurt because I know it happens every single year, then why the hell is he still on your team? Yeah. Because the only way you can win a championship in Philly is if Joel Embiid is on the court. And if Joel Embiid is on the court, that's the only way you can win a championship. Then you have to build a team around Embiid if he's on the court. Because if he's not on the court, then you're not going to win a championship. So if Embiid's not on the court, so if you're going in the free agency like, I got to build a team just in case Embiid is not there, you're not going to win a championship without Embiid. So don't focus on building a team if Embiid's not there. You either go all in on Embiid or get rid of him. You either go all in on him or get rid of him.
How often has Joel Embiid not been in the playoffs?
They get rid of him. If you don't want to commit to Joel Embiid, then get rid of him.
Casual. How often has he not been there in the playoffs?
Damo, I understand. Joel Embiid is going in the playoffs on one leg, half a face, this, that, jammed finger every single year. I understand. But my point is, if you're going to have that mindset every offseason, then you might as well get rid of him because that's not healthy. It's not healthy to run your team. It's like, oh my God, my star player. I don't know if he's going to be healthy in the postseason because you need him to be healthy. You don't want to build a team of what if he's not healthy, because if he's not healthy, you're not going to win a championship. So there's no point of building a team if he's not there.
I've never had contingencies be looked down upon.
Fellas, we got to wrap this up because we're coming near the end of the show, and I do got to get to these super chats. Yep. I do want to say this though. The only reason I mentioned Joel not being in the picture is because he's 30, Brandon Ingram's 26, and Tyrese Maxey's 23.
That's
So
what
I'm like in five years, if you get Brandon Ingram 5 years from now, them two dudes are still in their prime.
Yeah, first 2 seasons. He was out 2 seasons.
I remember Embiid's debut. It was so hyped.
Yeah.
And then he had that little shimmy fade.
He missed his first 2 seasons. He was gone.
All right, here we go, y'all.
Every player. My fault. Go ahead.
James B said, Damo, watch it. Next time you fake Pistons community members dissing me, Mars, if you want a video that bad, I could send it to you on Discord, sucker.
Yo, no.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Fake. Man, I was putting on for Detroit harder than Eminem, buddy. What are you talking about?
But hold on, no. Mars, y'all be sending each other videos on Discord?
In Rio. No, I think he's from Flint.
Not that I knew.
I was just about to join too. I'm going to stay far away from that. Tyler T said, you all relax on James B, yo. And Jokic better. Zulu said, chill. Will you be on playback for Tobias Harris for his first game with his other team? I want to see your face when you see Tobias Harris pump fake and open 3 into a midi miss.
The Tobias Harris special right there, man.
Dreamville HQ said, ticket love Ron. He has y'all fooled.
Ticket not even up here. Shout out to him for making us $2 on his day off.
We gotta cut him in. We
ain't gonna do all that, but shout out to Ticket.
D9 said, dub panel, dub chat. Oxford, have you read the Tao Te Ching? Tao Te Ching? Tao Te Ching.
No, D9, I haven't. I'm gonna look that up though. Order it on Amazon. It'll be here tomorrow.
Shout out to Tao Te Ching. Irregular said, FYI, Chill had the Wolves smoking Dallas.
In 5 games. I had to mop in the floor with them dudes in 5 games. 100%.
It was 5 games. It was 5
I just had I had the right amount of games. I just had the wrong team. So
if that series started again right now, I would still have Minnesota in 5.
And
Lil Brat
about the matchup.
And you not xenophobic, huh?
Rudy Gobert.
I love all people of the earth, Dama. All the people of the world.
Sent through a super chat. He said, Giannis better than both, though. This is irrelevant.
Yeah, being more skilled doesn't mean you're better.
Mad Max Sports Talk said, why Jokic better than Tatum? Chill.
Why is Joker better than Tatum? I don't know what that means.
Why is Jokic a better player than Jayson Tatum?
Why do you look up and the sky's blue?
Well, that's because of light reflecting off oxygen and shit like that.
Yeah,
it's basically the same question.
I think Joker's the best player on the planet because not just because they won an NBA championship, but because what he did leading up to that. That's why I think that's why I think he's better. I think he's better in that system than Jayson Tatum is in his system. I think he's a better overall player than Jayson Tatum. That's why I think Joker is better.
And shit like that.
Hey, Dama, how am I xenophobic and I got Rudy for MVP?
All right.
Yeah, remember 26 point per game, Rudy MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're xenophobic towards pale skin Europeans.
Okay.
Not Loafin said we got to protect OG at all costs. He keep me rolling.
I'm the comic relief around here. Mm-hmm.
Logan Masike said Luka been carrying bums his whole career until now.
I'm gonna call them bums.
Yeah,
all of them.
He had Porzingis and Jaylen Brown.
Yes, he did. Those wasn't bums.
Goddamn shit.
Because Jaylen was carrying.
Yeah, he had Dirk Nowitzki. I mean, that's what I'm saying. 5 player. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Dwight Powell.
Adam West said Jonte Porter is not cooking.
All right, bro. Thanks. I've been called every NBA player on the planet. I've been called Mike James, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry. I haven't heard Kyle Anderson, but I've heard any light-skinned NBA player I've heard. Not Kelly.
I was gonna say I don't think you've been called Bobo, but
no.
Which ones do you accept?
Which ones do I accept?
Mike James is accurate.
I've heard Mike James.
I said Mike James is kind of crazy.
That's my twin. I was like, Mike James is my twin. Shout out to Mike James.
Chill.
I got fellas. Later. I'll get what you doing tomorrow.
Yesterday. Shout out Mike James, man. Last but not least, I got one more super chat from Thickest Pilot 9. He said, "Open Gym tag team for the win. Epic show yesterday."
Yeah, best show on the platform.
All right, y'all. It was an amazing show. Ahmad, appreciate you for tapping in.
Peace
Casual,
out.
appreciate you for tapping in. We're gonna have to get y'all back on sometime again this summer, maybe a couple times.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Merry
All right,
Christmas.
y'all.
Merry Christmas, guys.
All right. Same time tomorrow. And y'all know what time it is tomorrow. Game 1. Exciting day.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
All right, man.
Yeah,
Gotta
stop
guess
wasting.
is
Stop wasting water, man.
Facts. Do bad,
Fuck
guys.
them turtles. I threw an aluminum can at a turtle yesterday.
All right, y'all. Before we lose our sponsorship.